Because he's nervous. Welcome to Sci-Fi Wales. Any of you, were you here last year? Hands up. Yeah, congratulations. Well done. You came back in. I'm here again, sorry. First time we have today is the guys and the girls from 2 Kill Comics. They were here last year. Did anybody see their panel last year? Yeah, good. That's what too. Come on, you saw it, don't you? Yeah. Right, I'm going to bring you around, because you've not come here to hear me talk, you come here to hear them talk. Tom, how are you coming? Web series I did in 2012, and Sam is the artist for that, and we've developed a poster especially for today, which is the first piece of artwork for it. I think we have the trailer for the TV for the web series from 2012 as well, which will give you maybe a little bit more insight into what the hell I'm talking about. Now the gentleman who trips, he had something with it, is that the poster? That is the poster. It's been under a blanket until now. And,
yeah. Not that poster.
Not that poster. So some people here might not be here last year. So bring us up to speed on 2 Kill Comics issue number 1. Oh, so issue number 1 we released last year. Scifi Wales did this last year, and we had different artists then. It went really well. We really loved issue 1. I loved the story issue 1, and then we changed artists for issue 2 to Sci. We developed that in the last year and a bit, and I think I'm really proud of it. I think the story takes a step forward, and I think it's going to hopefully shock people. So how impressed were you with the feedback that issue number 1 got? Really, Chef, we submitted different reviews and stuff, and which was terrifying, because you're going, please judge me. And you like waiting, and they tell you like, oh, your review's coming in a couple of weeks, and you spend the whole 2 weeks going, this could be 1 star, this could be 1 star. And I don't think it was 4 out of 5, which was the same as Spider-Man that week, so we were like, we're the same as Spider-Man. Which was nice. We still say, I think we got t-shirts somewhere with it printed, I haven't. So we're really chuffed with that. People seem to enjoy it. People seem to enjoy the fact that it comes with a soundtrack, it's read and listen, and that's quite quirky in itself. And the story, people seem to like the fact that it wasn't just like filled with action, it was more kind of character-driven, character-based, and kind of spoke about what it's like to live a life of killing people, which, you know, based on my own life. You kill people with a soundtrack. So, it's been a year since we saw that. Give or take 2 days since we did the podcast. I think it's been a year. So you've been kind of busy over the past year. Issue number 2. Yeah, we've been working pretty hard on making sure it was, with the story and with everything, just stepping up a level and just making sure that people get a new experience that carries on with the story. It's really hard because a lot of people haven't read issue 1, so I'm having to be a tad bit vague because it's a little bit of a vague story until like the last 4 pages. And the first one is about, it's based like a love story, and we see 2 people falling in love, but the audience knows one of them is an assassin, but they don't know who it is until it unfolds at the end. So you're reading it through not knowing who is the main character in this series going forward, which we might be slightly spoiling for with the slideshow and the t-shirts. But could be a t-shirt sign. And then it's that assassin's backstory, how they came to be the person they are, and what drives them going forward, and what their plan is with their life, which is violent and dark, and contains me and Sam. Me and Sam have been drawn into it. we are characters in it, just for fun. As is Jess. Jess is our cosplay design the costume for the character. And yes, a busy last year and a month maybe.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Do you want to mention the thing that's different about the comic book flows like
Soundtrack.
that?
So you can. It comes each issue. You can download an MP3 of a soundtrack that's been composed specifically for that issue. So you read and listen and kind of get a very different experience. And so far, everyone that has read and listened, it has timed up perfectly. We're still waiting for the day when someone goes, yeah, I finished, but the music was still going on. But so far, it's never happened. So we're really proud of it as a concept, because comics being a visual medium and adding a sound-based medium and being able to mix the two together gives a really unique perspective on the comic books, kind of what they normally like.
I'm going to try and avoid asking any questions that I asked last year, but to be honest, I can't remember what I asked. So apologies if I repeat, but you've got paper copies.
Yeah.
You've got it downstairs. Do you also do digital?
We do digital. We haven't released issue 2 as digital as yet. We literally the print arrived yesterday at 10:30 in the morning. So this is the first time Sci's even seen the printed copies, because it was pretty nerve-wracking. I'm not gonna lie, we were all on panic stations going, so what are we going to talk about then? Oh well, let's maybe come up with some kind of interpret dance or something like that. Starting to come up with a dance routine, which if everyone here buys an issue, he will perform it.
My co-hosting colleague there, Bob, he's one of my boss issues.
Brilliant. There you go. Thank you for everyone as well. There's a lot of people.
Yeah.
So we done. Good work.
And then my wonderful after like private dance. A little bit of conversation after. Good to be okay. So, Jess, is your first panel that you know something?
Yes, it is. Yes.
How hard is it? What's your process for designing costumes for a graphic novel comic?
Well, we met up back in April, March, and we were discussing the character Beth, and we were talking through pretty much like a skeleton of like what the plot was like. And originally it was going to be a full-blown latex costume, but I think I kind of got a lot of influence from shows like maybe like Arrow and like the new Black Canary costume. I really like the idea of it being a two-piece. So we came up with this design, and usually obviously with cosplay I'm just copying what a character is like. So it was really fun to actually have like my own. I was allowed to be as creative as I wanted to be. So yeah.
Is that something where like, I really enjoy doing that? I'm going to carry on doing it.
I would like to, yeah. You can do a lot of like original characters if you're, say from like an RPG game or something like that. But it's a lot of the time as a cosplayer, if you do that, you don't get recognised because it's only your character. And while that's amazing, it isn't. Yeah, it's not recognised. So being able to have one of my designs in a comic book is huge. So yeah, I'm very flattered.
It's going to be like that. I mean, for everybody involved in the comic to look at it and go, there's a lot of hard work, there's a lot of time, but it's
Security!
If anybody's got any questions, stick your hand up. My colleague Bob will run over the microphone.
And we'll bribe you with a free badge.
You get badges away last year. That's all I get a badge anymore.
You can get a badge.
The whole.
Oh, you got a badge then.
I've never got a badge. I retract my previous.
Problem solved.
Where did the idea of your accompaniment come from? Why did you decide to go off on that medium?
I'm more usually a film person. What I do, I work at charity called Tape, where we do a lot of filming, and I'd previously done Scar, which was a web series that I wrote and directed. And this started life as an idea that I had for a short film. The first issue did, because I wanted to do a really messed up romantic comedy that had like assassin undertones. So I wrote down the script and then decided that, geez, I'm never going to get a budget for that. And then decided to translate it into a comic book. I love comic books anyway, and I was able to kind of just do something that once I started translating into comic book, I was like, this is actually probably the funnest thing I've ever done, you know, being able to just be as imaginative as you want, and as long as you have people like Sci who can draw all the ridiculous stuff I write in the boxes, and like, she's on a motorbike, racing to a city, it's New York. If you can draw all that, then it means that, you know, it means that it's a kind of an unlimited story of where we can take it, but at the same time, I don't want to kind of take it into kind of an explosion and
To kill in space.
yeah, it's very, the idea is that it's very hopefully, even though it's assassins and stuff like that, hopefully it's kind of relatable in that the character goes through some stuff and we've all perhaps had these thoughts, you know, not connected for the same reasons, but we can hopefully relate to maybe why she would reach this position in her life and go, yeah, let's kill people. We've all wanted to do it, come on.
Is it something you would possibly do as a film in the future if the opportunity came up? You know, this kind of works in comic. Let's get to the comic.
We have some ideas for live action and maybe animated, and you know, a couple of different things where we would like to at one point do something that is a film or a short film. We're like messing around with a few ideas at the moment, and between either animating what we've done or maybe writing. I've got an idea for a story that takes place before the comic with a different character, but once you kind of would see that story, you'd realise how it slots into this, and so it'd be self-contained, but if you've read the comic, you'd be like, oh, that's why that happened. Oh, maybe they're not the best people in the world. And, you know, like, so that's kind of maybe, you know, in the pipeline.
Too Kill, Too Furious.
Only if you get Vin Diesel.
You get the third one before.
He'll play a tree, so come on.
That's a good point, but I enjoy it. So, yeah, just hit the window with my Too Kill, Too Furious. So you've got the issues downstairs, isn't it? Both of them?
We have both issues. We have, we sell the first one for £2, we sell the second for £2.69. We're doing a 2-pack of them both for £3.69 with design. We also do t-shirts as well as stand-up sign. I've got a 2 Kill t-shirt, but this is not for sale.
There's nothing on the back.
We have a white one as well, and they've been designed specifically as t-shirts, and we've really worked on making sure that even if you haven't read the comic, they might be something quite cool to wear, and they're £14.99, and badges, and we're selling Scarlet stuff, Jess is selling prints. Well, you know, we're a one-stop shop for random stuff. Hopefully random good stuff.
Yeah.
That is random good. I've seen you sold downstairs. So you need a t-shirt that says, as good as slime.
Right on the back.
That's totally good. So how did you feel after your panel last year?
I felt really, I was pretty chuffed with it. I'm a nervous wreck, as you can probably tell. I'm always terrible at talking. Yeah, so...
We all are, it's okay, we're suffering for this together.
exactly how it went until kind of, I was on a high, but I was also like, yeah, then people probably thought I was a div. But I was chuffed with it all the same. I was like, good div moment.
Because you're at Wales based, right?
Yeah, we're
South Wales?
North Wales, we managed to now get, last year, the art actually based in London, but now everyone on this panel is North Wales based, either, still lives here or originally from here or whatever. We're all North Wales. This is very, very, very local.
So, yeah, Simon. Hello. Panels are quite small and comic. When you're drawing them, how big do you actually draw them out?
Each image was an A4 page. Next time I'm going to do it a bit different, like how actual comic book artists, map out panels on Bristol board, and they just do everything on one page. I did every image on a separate A4 page to kind of work which is the best image. It was a learning process for me.
What's the sort of rough time scale on how long it would take about 12 years to not even draw in the room?
Well, I mean, last year, actually at Scifi Wales, I was vying for the position of the artist because they didn't have another artist yet, so I showed up and was speaking with Tom and people at the table to see if I could get the job of being the artist. And then when we worked out that I was going to do the artwork for the inside of the comic, I ended up doing kind of a rough of the whole comic in about a week. And then this year I ended up doing the rest of it in 2 weeks. Because I do other work, unfortunately, which is animation work as well, so that's why we're discussing doing maybe animation or some live action sequences from the story, So in total it's 2 weeks.
Wow.
So it will be a monthly comic.
So Sam, you're a bit quietly. Are you hiding? Why would you like to stand there?
Can we show the?
You can do whatever.
Can we show the video just to tee up what Scarlet is?
So this is Scarlet Trail.
It's a trailer for, we created together in 2012. It was a web series. It was online. It features Spencer Wilden was in it as well, so you'll see him in the trailer. And we did lots of cool stuff. It was with the charity that I work for, Tape. We decided to write and direct and come up with a series that people could, and it was made with real life high school kids, and they were learning how to use the camera and do sound at the same time, and so every performer in it was in high school at that exact moment. So even Scarlet, who's an American character, was played by a real high student, and it was filmed in real high. It was a project that kind of was a bit different in that it was great content, but it was also creating opportunities for people who might not have thought that they were capable of acting, and we're very fortunate that I would say a good 70% of the people who got involved now are still involved either studying or finishing up performing arts things. So I'm still keep in touch, and they still remember it fondly. But the story was meant to be 2 seasons. Funding didn't happen to season 2. I wrote it. Left it for 5 years, decided to finally do it as a comic with sound. I've now introduced a 3-year time jump, but the trailer will kind of give you a flavour of what the story is
I'm
about.
saying Spencer Wilden been confirmed as the new
Darth Vader.
Darth Vader. So yes, before it was Darth Vader.
Name drop.
Name drop.
He's been in many, many things. Hasn't he?
Yes.
Guardians of the Galaxy is the main guard. So it's the
There's a great scene of him
but
dancing.
this is what he boasts about. It's like I was inspired. That's how
He actually has signed Scarlet DVDs at conventions. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, please meet me, Chloe, by the way. What is that TV? I said, man.
online. So
I've never seen it.
we have the DVD as well.
And you can sign it.
We can sign it, and it comes with a making of documentary. It's interesting. Well, it's a lot of me talking, so maybe avoid it.
It doesn't go well if you sit in the Q&A panel listen to Tom talk. You want that stuff talking.
But Sam, are you ready to unveil it and talk about
Do I
what
need
it
to
is?
unveil it now?
Go for it. So he's unveiling, this is a poster for the comic that is coming, so this is the first piece of artwork that Sam's done, and the comic will be hopefully out in May.
Hopefully, yeah, and hopefully it looks something this. Oh, no. There we go.
You don't know what to say? The second series is, the comic is a lot darker. So in that series, you can probably tell that he sees an imaginary his favourite Hollywood star in his head, and she gives him advice on how to get the girl and how, and it's all, she's as useless as him because it's just his imagination. Whereas in the second one, something tragic happens and he's not seen Scarlett for a good few years, and something happens, and she returns, but it's in a very different capacity. So I think you managed to capture that sort of vibe with the poster. How did you do it, Sam?
Well, I don't know where to start. I'll start with saying,
So you've done that. So you start with a black thing.
yeah.
Where did you begin?
Well, I sort of went off the feel of the comic book, the way it was going to be. I know that there was quite a lot of, as you say, issues and things happening with the young boy. So I tried to keep the Scarlet character more sort of vivid and almost like it's bringing hopefully life back into his life as things are happening. The initial start was sort of, I usually just do a few little quick sketches to try and map out how something will look, and then some days I can sketch all day and not think of anything, and then luckily this one was 10 minutes of a few quick sketches, and then figured out to put these characters in this position, and then I just start layering stuff up so everything just changes as I go along. So the idea of, it's a bit faded on this one, but I thought of sort of camera flashes around the Hollywood star, and then they could morph into sort of thunder as the rain's coming down on this character here. And there's sort of like a crossover of the darkness and the light from Scarlet to sort of connect to the characters again.
Good work on the lettering, by the way. I used to do handwriting, it's really nice.
Thank you. That was the bit I was pleased about. I tried to copy the original Scarlet. Is it on the case or is it?
It's on the poster and it's on the case and stuff like that. So
the original Scarlet poster. It's the same text, but yeah.
yeah, we have not unveiled until we did this. But right now, as soon as we get back to the store, we have a limited number of copies of it available. We have 10. They're exclusive to this. They're signed as well. They're a fiver. It's once they're gone, aren't they?
Yeah. For now,
What size?
They
they're
are.
half the size. They're A3.
Yeah.
A3. This one was more for sort of so that you can see it.
Feel,
Yeah.
It's a great artist.
I'll put that there for now.
So let's say where you spoke last year, where do you hope to be next year? Not geographical.
Next year, well, I'm really excited about issue 3. It's dark and messed up, so that's always fun. So I'm hoping that we will have that out. We'll have the first issue of Scarlet out. So we'll have 2 comics that out, and people can hopefully read and enjoy and kind of. And really, one of the things that kind of inspires me anyway is not necessarily where I go. It's kind because they might have thought, well, even if they just, see our comic and passing, but think, local people can do this, and it inspires them to do it. That's one of my big aims, is that hopefully people, in a year's time, someone might come up to me and be like, I did my comic because I read yours, or something like that, and hopefully we can kind of create an atmosphere and an energy around North Wales, that anything is possible, and that you can be as creative as you want, and be able to do films, and to do comic books, and enjoy being creative.
It does really bridge a gap, because people buy comic books and not always think about where they come from. And when you see that somebody's made one from your local area, hopefully we're going to have young kids or people from any age who can draw or write a story, create their own comic book, because they can see now not how it's done, but that it can be done. It's possible. It's possible. So it's a really inspiring project.
They could also look at it and think, I can do way better than that.
Exactly. That's usually the case. You look at do better than that, and then you're halfway through the drawing room. Why am I doing this?
But as long as they come back with, it's because of you we're better. You made us better. We'll take that. We'll take any compliment. We're easy.
Next year we'll be in the audience watching people who are better than us. It's going to be a year from now. I've got a question. Why did you steal our idea?
Sit in an audience for a panel and they're like, so where were you inspired by? Well, it's 2 Kilo comic.
Yeah, that'd be very.
That's the real one.
That's when I was out the other day being in the comic book shop already in there.
Yeah, it's people, people seeing people buy it, and people, someone was just so happened that I was in there buying my local comic. Not my local comic, it was a local comic book shop, and I was buying, say Batman or something like that. I can't remember exactly what I was buying. And someone was buying my comic, and it was pointed out to them that, oh, that's the person who wrote it, and they got it signed.
Was it you that pointed it out?
No, I definitely not.
Would you not be tempted? You go,
I've seen people do it and I've not done it. I've just sort of nosed, and then they caught glimpses of me just staring at them intently and everybody thinking, weirdo. When in reality it was like, they're buying my comic, how awesome is that? But this time someone pointed it out, and that was weird. I'm not gonna lie, someone pulling out a bar and going, can you sign this? And you're like, okay, what for? Okay, yeah, okay.
You want to draw my artwork. Simon, what do you want to be in 12 months? Everybody's going to get the same questions, so you don't have to think.
It'd be nice to have we've been talking about the next issue being painted, so I'd like to be in a position where I can look at the painted issue printed, because it's, like you said, it's quite rewarding to look at the artwork that you've slaved over. But you've kind of spent a long amount of time. I mean, even though it's 2 weeks, it's 2 intense weeks of cleaning things up and getting half-turn on the pages, so you've got shadow as well as the black and white. So it'd be nice to see a painted image printed next year. That's right.
Yes.
Well, I'd like to think that I'm still the official cosplayer for that. Maybe, yeah.
That wasn't even like a question.
It's not only the costume though. I ended up contacting Jess because I didn't know how to do a handbag, technically. I mean, I kind of go, I want a stylish handbag, but I'm not going to look online and go, that'll do, and then girls look at it and go, is it fit for you? Yeah, I need kind of a woman's perspective on what's fashionable. So a lot of the images inside the comic, sorry, I'm taking your answer. A lot of the costume from photographs of Jess, posing for the comic, so she kind of contributed multiple.
Yeah, and from doing cosplay, I find that quite normal to do. So yeah, it wasn't weird for me. I'd like to think that maybe the costume will be new and improved. We're going to make it like Marvel, have like a new suit every issue. But that's what I like to think. But yeah, that's what I think.
Hopefully finished the first issue of that. That's a start. Maybe thinking of more issues if there's any ideas for another thing or any other comic books. I've had a few ideas of comics over the years, and as you were saying, seeing that it's able to be done has given
another feeling than ever. You know, I think there's several points throughout both issues where you think, am I capable of doing it? I think it's just human nature to be self-doubt, and I mean, even just releasing, knowing that people would be reading it from today, the new issue, and just be like, is it any good? Like when I was writing, I was really confident, and then suddenly it dawns on you that people are going to see it the next day, and I love the art, and I know the art's great, but you think about your perspective, and you're like, have I gave him a good enough story to work with? And you just like self-doubt and stuff. But to have done it twice is probably more than ever. Pretty lucky that being able to do 2 comics and the Scarlet Web series, and looking at a third. It's kind of
You're a media mogul, you kind of got 2 comic books on the go, several films, he's branching out into look at new animation and Rupert Murdoch.
Don't be.
No.
I will turn evil though if I get that kind of power.
You turn into Rupert Murdoch out of the office. Everything that's talked about is all available there.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for all coming on. It's like a yearly thing. With new
Yeah.
editions each year.
Yes, next year.
Anybody else got any final questions? Your friends have been really punchy as well, so that's nice. No heckling.
By the way, come down to our desk and get free badges. So
Continuing the North Wales theme, are you going to set Kill 3D in the metropolis that is Bristol?
I have seriously, not with 2 Kill, but I have been very, very tempted to write something based in the area. I've just a few ideas of things that I'd like to do. There's, I'd really like to. I myself suffer with an illness called ME, so I'd quite like to tackle something like that, which maybe gives other people who suffer with ME a different way of looking at their illness, in that it's not a weakness, it can be a superpower. And if you look at it in the right way or approach it the right way, I'm not saying it's not hard, it's hard. But it's nice to kind of, I'd love to do something like that because there's young people who get ME every year, and having the perspective of 15 years next year that I've had it. So having the perspective that time brings. I'm not very good at articulating things, but maybe in a story I can maybe articulate things better and give someone that might have just got diagnosed, some kind of new way of looking at what they're going through, which, when it first happens, you're going to be like, oh, this is the worst thing in the world. Maybe it writes in that their character uses it to their advantage. Maybe that might, give them a new way of approaching things.
Thank you. I think you might go one more question.
Are you ever going to continue with Scarlet, or would you go further into the characters in the future?
I didn't quite catch that.
Sorry.
If you continue Scarlet, would you kind of develop the characters into the future?
Yeah, definitely. It was really fun because I wrote the script back in 2012 for the next series, so it was very much just carrying on while they were in their lives, and then suddenly coming back to it 5 years later, I was like, well, wouldn't it be fun to kind of account for some of that time? So it's now 3 years further down the line, they've just finished high school and they're going to start into college, and so all the relationships are stronger, so his love interest in that, they might have been together for longer, so you really, when the emotional sort of things happen, you kind of, it's more believable because they've been together for a long time, and he's changed as a person and needs this character for a very different reason. I think that whilst we all don't see imaginary characters, I think there's definitely times in our lives where we might be going through something like, for example, the first one, the reason why it was him sort of struggling to ask a girl out that he really fancied was because at some point when we're 14, 13, 14, every person goes through that and it's the worst thing, and you feel like it's the worst thing in the world, and then going forward to when they're 18 and when something really, really terrible does happen, then you kind of, he will, it's a different way of looking at it because now the worst thing in the world has happened, and so his whole approach to life changes dramatically. Scarlett changes as his imagination. So the first one, she's very very critical of who he is. I think it's his self-critical side which we all have, and then in the second one, she's the last spark that he holds on to and tries to see and tries to get through. So characters are hopefully more fleshed out and developed.
Well, thank you very much, Tom, Simon, Jess, Tom's friends. Lovely artwork.
Thank you.
We will be down later on to mingle and purchase some comics and stuff like that. Thank you very much for the opening panel of Sci-Fi Wales 2016. Enjoy your day, everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming, everyone. And keep that on table, get some free bags.
Oh, 2 Bill comic on social as well. Series, all of it in unison.
Do you want to do it? Yeah.
And introduce yourself as well, so that way no faces to names.
Yeah, no problem. I'm Terence Edwards. I'm one of the writers and executive producers of Whovians. Whovians is a comedy drama web series following the lives and loves of 4 fans of Doctor Who. The first series is available to watch through our website, which is thewhovians.tv, and we are currently filming the second series, which will be broadcast at some point during the autumn.
How are you trying to raise the budget for season 2?
Right,
That was nice.
Our first series was done on 0 budget, and this second series we do have a crowdfunding campaign going on at the moment via Indiegogo. So please take a look at it and please donate if you can. We'll be very grateful.
These guys, obviously. Your scripts are awesome, so I don't know.
The ego has won. Anna, who would you like?
I will nominate Victoria.
Oh.
Thank you.
Victoria, what's the toughest thing about filming a movie?
The toughest?
The toughest, the most
That's my favourite.
No, I think no. Keep your movie toes.
To be honest, I know it sounds really corny, but there isn't really a tough aspect of it because obviously acting is my chosen career and I love it, I enjoy it, so this is what I wanted to do. So nothing is really tough about it. I'd say the only thing that could be classed as tough is when you get a script through and you've got a massive chunk of dialogue, it's almost like a monologue. So I suppose that's probably the toughest thing. But you do get monologues through in any film or series or anything, so it's a natural thing you're going to have to put up with as an actor or an actress. But when you do get it through, you just have to kind of build a storyboard in your head so you remember it, and you don't. And Terence is really good with words, so you don't have to kind of worry about whether you get it word for word. He's not too precious with the script, which is the great thing about Terence. So if you do fluff up the lines or you kind of make it your own, it doesn't really hugely matter unless there are 1 or 2 lines that he specifically wants word for word. So I'd say that was probably the toughest part of Whovians, but other than that, I just enjoy it. It's great fun. Yeah, it's so much fun.
Who would you choose?
Oh, I choose fellow cast member Ben.
Well, I give the most fun thing about the Whovians for you personally. The most fun, most enjoyable thing.
It has to be when we were doing series 1 last year. We did a lovely shoot down in a place called Babel Bay, where they actually filmed Doctor Who before. And essentially the scene takes place in the opening of episode 2 of series 1. And I'm sort of dressed in very fancy, almost like Dr. Garb. And getting chased by very 70-esque Who monsters. But it was just a really lovely day anyway. It was just one of the finer days we had because our summer last year was not great. And again, that was one of the challenges we faced. The only thing about filming on a budget is that it rains. But also, as we were describing earlier, you can't control noise in public spaces. It's like anything. Yeah, planes, like they're also like even the most simple thing is like a cat. But yeah, I mean that was a fun day because obviously we were on a beach.
Tell you, it's cat press just got it. That was good.
And yeah, essentially, it was just fantastic. It was a lovely day. You know, we got to sort of film on the beach. It was a really nice day. No trouble, no issues with sound, and yeah, got to do a really cool hero shot. So yeah, that was probably my most fun experience. And of course, as always, getting to know such wonderful cast members and alas, and stories.
You just want one line there.
Might ask for any embarrassing stories. If anybody does have any questions, stick a hand up. I've read multiple, then I'll see a microphone and you can roll.
I nominate the Lumiere.
Thanks, Ben.
You're welcome.
How many takes did that scene take where you're stood in the queue and you're just staring? Not cracking up. It's just always
That's a cracking question.
But I was laughing.
When I was paying attention, it took one take, guys, was that good. But when there was noise around, at least 25, I'm going to go with that. It got to a point where we just tried to start. Every time we tried, just something would happen, there would be noise from somewhere in the distance. But it was fun, challenging, because people like to be noisy. But it was a good shoot and fun. It was different. This is something I've never done before. It's true.
Fake queue. You've never fake queue before.
No. I could have shouted like. I did about 25 takes for that, and by the 20. By the
But he nailed it. Did nail it.
Eventually got there. I mean, sort of shooting a web series and stuff, I was talking about in location on a low budget. Do you get members of the public that you do?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we did. A story, but I don't know if I should. No,
You should.
Oh, yes, that's James about the park.
Oh, okay.
When we filmed the park last year, James would tell you a good story about filming in the park, in the middle of in Cardiff.
Yeah,
James,
that
tell
was-
me about the park.
we'd been shooting for a couple of hours. It was a beautiful day. It was the best day, I think, of the summer. And we'd attracted quite a lot of attention because we've been running around like fools in this.
And you were dressed as a doctor.
And I was dressed as a doctor. So I'm waiting for my phone to drive around, and people are obviously kind of paying a little bit of attention. So this sweet and interesting and fragrant lady. Well, fragrance is an interesting. Anyway, it's subjective. So we, she kind of came and asked what we were doing. We kind of cut, and we were just shooting this kind of work. Is it Doctor Who? Are you sure it's Doctor Who? Like, so no, okay. If you need anyone, I'm just going to be over here behind this hedge. We're kind of like, what? No, we're all right. I said, no, honestly, I would love to be involved. I'm just going to be over here. And we were like, no, we have to run away now. It's so intense. But yeah, we had a lot of people, a lot of interesting people kind of coming and asking us what we're doing, and people want to get in shot, even when they don't want to be in shot, like cyclists, or ladies with pushchairs, or those guys in shot mobility scooters, or anything wanted to get in shot. They would just drive in front of us. They would get in front of us, and we would just have to go cut, away, and then we'd go. Okay, go. It's a shame you can't see the outtakes.
They are quite
Some of them are probably, lawsuit worthy.
Can we see the editing?
No. They can't go out. They can't. They wouldn't. We would get sued.
I like to make sure my cast was really professional.
Yeah.
I would never do that to them or ever release it online. Unless you went to an Indiegogo, subscribe quite a bit of money. I would happily send you a copy, maybe. But then if you upload it, that's not me who did that, is it?
So as a surprise for James, we found
so long. I'd be like, I think you were really fragrant. Yeah, Odour Public Laboratory.
So what perks have you got for your season 2 then? Let's do a quick rundown of some of your favourite perks.
Oh, we've got for you exclusive behind the scenes footage. We will get, might be, like I said. You will get to see the episodes before anyone else online. If you pay a little bit more, you'll get a nice snazzy t-shirt that exclusively you will only get meant to be cast and crew, or if you pay nicely. Is it what you did? And you'll be able to advertise for us when you wear it and enjoy the t-shirt. We do quite good perks like that, and also if you hurry up, you will then get a walk-on extra role. If you're quick, you can become a demon and shoot September 25th down in Cardiff. Come along, you pay enough. Also, if you pay enough, you will be invited to the rap party and see what James is like after a couple of wines.
That is worth a lot of money. A lot of money.
We've got a lot of perks there.
Don't pronounce the P's.
No P's, but we have perks that are fantastic for you. Please pick them up in a snap.
Yeah. Great.
There we go.
Perfect. So how much is your walk-on part?
I think we've got that about 50 quid. Is it 75? I think it's 75 to come to the rap party.
Just that.
50 quid to get you immortalised in digital file. And you get to meet us an hour after in person. You could meet today, we're very friendly.
Yeah. Well,
so nice.
Yeah.
You've got some clips and stuff, or a clip, what did you say?
Yes, we've got a clip that's going to go out tonight, and we brought it here for you guys to look at it first. It is the first teaser trailer of Series 2.
Exclusive
to Scifi Wales.
We have to see.
That's a big screen.
That's good.
That's good. Thank you.
How cool is it looking at on a big screen?
It's very cool.
Very cool. Can we do it again?
Yes.
So, I mean, I know a lot of web series people. Are there any other web series that inspired you? I mean, obviously Doctor Who's inspired you to do your show.
To be honest, no. The web series came about because the three of us have been friends for years. I knew Matt from Union Tez from being childhood friends. And I won't tell you, but I wanted to direct, I want to write, I want to get my stuff out there. Tez wants to write, Matt wants to write. We were just frustrated writers and creators and stuff. And we were looking for something to get noticed, for people to actually look at what we can write about day-to-day life. And that's where the idea came from. We're all Whovians, and that was the idea that I came up with and got these two in a room. And it was more of a case of frustration of wanting to write and wanting to share a story. And here we are now 5 years later after first meeting about it, and we're in a room in North Wales having a great time. So it was from frustration of creating good people, really. That's where it came from, rather than actually, oh, that's a great web series, I want to make that. And like you said, like, you know, our episodes are 30 odd minutes long because I'm terrible, and I'm the kind of person who say, well, do you know what, if we're going to make it, let's make it. Let's not mess around, let's not make 10 minutes, if you're going to film something for no budget, then film something for no budget and just go for it.
And it's also making sure that the episodes are as long as it takes to tell the story. You know, if a story takes half an hour to tell, it takes half an hour to tell, it takes 20 minutes to tell, it takes 20 minutes to tell. Because we don't have the control, it's got to be 22 minutes, you know, as a lot of when you put adverts in a half-hour show is, we've found that quite liberating in terms of that we can take the time to tell the stories that we want to tell.
I watched the pilot episode, I watched it this morning, and it flew on. And it's like, isn't it short? Because I looked at the running time first and thought, right, well, get showered and get breakfast and travel all the way to Wales and stuff. Let's put this on. And it just, it flew by. So like you said, there was no filler or anything. It was spot on.
You can keep saying nice things.
So, I was going to say, yeah, I watched a nice big 40-inch TV as well, because as well as it's on the website, it's also through YouTube, which is where I watched it. I'm not a fan of watching stuff on tablets or something, but it looked really, really good on the big screen.
Thank you.
You have to go home and watch the rest of the episodes. Because season 1 is well over 2 hours.
Yeah.
She's got it.
Yeah.
Season 2, how many episodes have you got on?
There will be 6 episodes in total for series 2, and there will be a special release December 23rd for Christmas.
If it gets on.
It's happening anyway.
Just be better if you guys get
Just make it easier on us.
Yes, that's exactly it.
They'll just be drawings.
Yes.
Mimes and stuff like that. No soundtrack. And whatnot. So, what have you guys got? Booth or table downstairs? Or?
We do.
We do? Okay. You were just arriving as I was coming up here.
We're there. There's the web series is running. You can have a look at the clips if you want to look at anything, have a chat with us. We're all there. Get to know us. We're very friendly. We are. Just come say hello.
Really? We just scream narrow people.
Yeah. We just, I promise I won't scream, now fund me, or anything really rude. That's not.
Don't mispronounce that. You'll have
That's not, no. Hi.
If people want autographs, if people want to have a chat to us about anything, come down and see us. We're in the hall where the signing is taking place, and we'll be here, once this finishes, we'll be down there, and we'll be on the stall all afternoon. So yeah, drop by and say hello.
So you will enjoy yourself as well today, right? So is this the first convention you've all done, or have you done others?
All of us together, I think it's the first time we've been together. We've done 2 down in South Wales this year, we did 1 last year. But this was lovely that we were invited to come to North Wales. And that's why you've got all of us here. So we all jumped in the minibus at 4 o'clock this morning. So hi. Coffee wine.
I saw that I was chatting with them on social media and like, who's going to be on your panel? The names just kept. Rob's not allowed any chairs, so at one point we're going to have like a wall sat over there and just do the panel.
Yeah.
Do it that way. You guys, I think it's some stupid colours in the back.
Put the audience up here, that's out there.
But yeah, just enjoy yourself. Have a really good day. We're going to be popping down later on to have a quick chat and see all the warriors you've got and whatnot. But thank you very much for appearing on stage. Thank you very much. I don't think so. She's got a big mouth.
My question is, who did the music and the graphics at the beginning of the...
The music is a very talented personal friend of ours, who's our composer, Andrew Gallagher. He's a talented composer who's trying to get a step through. That's the great thing with this project. We managed to find people who are trying to get their show pieces and trying to get their work done. He does all the music. He's fantastic. He's back doing the music for the second series and the special. The graphics at the beginning, I made them. That's me. It's a bit. I'm the edit post-production guy on this as well. So that's me.
Great work.
I was just interested in really saying the project was Zara. How did you manage to recruit your actors and actresses? Were they friends? Or were you
Just desperate.
They said
We were just like, yeah.
You'd be surprised how many people who are passionate and creative, who feel as frustrated as us three producers and writers, who volunteer their spare time for maybe a pint at a rap party, maybe. But no, it's all, they've given all their spare time and they're as passionate about the project, they believe in it like us, and they're back for a series 2, which is so flattering for us. When they said yes to come back for series 2, and they're so passionate, they're so involved in the project, and like, as you see, we're here as a team, we're a team, and yeah, it's basically, you put an advert out online, and people come and audition, And sometimes you get magic and you're very lucky, and we are. So that's how it happens.
Stop.
That's it now, be nice now.
I think he just screamed out and went, axe down.
Yeah.
That's my suspicion. Any other questions?
Are there any plans to release it on DVD?
Oh, funny you should say that. Funny you should say that. We've got DVDs at our store that are going for £5 of Series 1 if you want to come down and see us. There's no plans to release it at the moment. We've got conversations going on with some people, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, no plans at the moment, but once everything's finished, we might put it up on sale on the website. The trouble we've got, and I'll be honest with you, is we're non-profit, and if we remain non-profit, and we don't make a profit on it, we're not infringing any BBC copyright by mentioning characters and anything from Doctor Who, so we're fine. As soon as we sell a DVD or sell anything else, you get into trouble.
But you could have it as like a Kickstarter or crowdfunder reward.
Yeah, that's an idea we've got, which would be the idea to resell it, and that would be the free gift you get if you donate it so much. Yeah, don't worry. That has been discussed. That might happen.
You get a surprise free gift that happens to be a DVD.
You want me to name drop?
Name drop who?
Yes.
That's tacky, I want name drop.
James did the lady in Hedge story, so we should.
Oh. Do we know? Yeah.
I'm just here with stuff like development.
I missed the question, man.
Yeah, sorry. Talking amongst yourselves, you know, like we do.
We might release it on Blu-ray if we do, but you know it's on YouTube. There are DVDs downstairs which are great to bring to events like this. You know, physically have a copy, take it home, have a look at it. You know, watch it online because you get a HD copy when you watch it online. But it, you know, selling it, the main issue, like I said, is we're a little bit scared of the big corporation.
And we do have a nice selection of homemade jams and jellies as well.
You've got any cupcakes?
You've got any cupcakes?
Cupcakes? Yeah, I can whip them.
Yeah, you go cupcakes.
Where's the nearest bread?
So if people come up to you and want to donate to the Gold campaign, they can go downstairs, speak to you,
Buy a DVD because that would go into the fund and you get a DVD as a perk then. So
yeah,
that's free gift.
Free gift.
Free gift. You give me £5, you get a free gift. It's a DVD.
Regular DVD. Lots easy one, yes.
Yeah.
Any other questions, or should we let these guys and girls run off downstairs? Go. It's like you can all see.
Good Fez. Fezes are cool.
So
no question. Just a shocked little face now.
I just need to do this because this is unbelievable for me. I can't look quite clean.
You do the photo with the audience.
I'm going to have to do this.
Thank you very much.
There you go. That's a shot of you guys all behind your table as well. I'll send that to you tomorrow night.
Third panel of the day is someone I've not had to meet before. It's amazing, seriously talented filmmaker, writer, producer, everything, actress, just you name it, Emma does it. Camera round of applause for Emma Dark. Now I know you're thinking Emma looks sort of solitary up there, all alone with the panel while you're all looking at her. She's brought some friends with her who are also filmmakers. I'm not who's wrote it.
Jason Gavitt and John O'Neill.
There you go, and also Soul up there as well. How did you three all meet? Why did you all collaborate and stuff together? What's the backstory of that?
I think we just met online on Facebook actually. We got chatting because we both have vampire films coming out, so yeah, we share a mutual love of vampires.
So Seize the Night is now out there.
It
People
is.
can watch it. I remember speaking to you when you put together Seize the Night. It's out there and people can watch it. And
Yeah.
it's great.
I know. Well, I mean, it took a long time to be honest. It took about 18 months of actual, DVD release and online release. So yeah, it's been a journey.
It's been a good destination. The journey, I'm sure, was tough. But I think the destination is pretty damn cool.
Yeah, 100%.
So what was the feedback like on season 9? Because you pitched it as it was it's influenced by films around the world.
Yeah, more so Blade actually, but I don't think I look remotely like Wesley Snipes. I don't think people will kind of make that comparison.
Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah,
Not
exactly.
so much
Yeah, so that they make more of a comparison with the underworld stuff really. And I had to also, in the end of it, I graded it with quite a heavy sort of greeny blue tint, which didn't help with that as well, because obviously those films have that kind of tint. But yeah, the feedback has been generally quite positive, and it certainly had a lot of media reviews, including From Page to Screen. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's got a couple of magazines as well. Screen magazine, which went out to all the HMVs in the UK, and also Digital Filmmaker magazine, which went into all the WH Smiths and Sainsbury's and stuff like that. So it's done quite well for itself.
Still is doing quite well for itself.
It is.
So where can people watch it?
Yeah, they can watch it online. It's www.seasonnightfilm.com, and it's on the front page. Or they can, if they want a DVD, they can come over to my signing table and buy a DVD for £5. So.
Very nice. They put some I love the fact that they're selling DVDs and stuff at conventions. You just pictures them online, which are cool. But
exactly.
DVDs.
Yeah, well, I mean, I had to make the DVDs anyway for the backers and stuff, and I wanted something to be able to take to the conventions, so I BBFC rated that so I could bring it along really, and it's gone down well. The fans seem to want the DVD, so yeah.
Well, you mentioned
it is brilliant.
Maybe.
Yeah, so I'm a bit quiet, maybe a bit closer to the mic.
You mentioned backers, so season 9 was that primarily funded by Indiegogo, Kickstarter, or was it a top
Not
thing?
primarily, it's primarily funded by my bank balance. But yeah, it did have quite a few backers on crowdfunding and stuff as well. So.
How do you find the whole crowdfunding world?
It's tough. I think once you've kind of done something, you've got a bit of a reputation. You have a certain fan following who will want merchandise and stuff. So when you do a crowdfund, I think with the one I've got now, I got like £1,000 in 3 days, which is great. But then it kind of lulls. And it doesn't move up that much. And it's kind of in that lull period, and there's another 7 days for the crowdfund I'm running now for my new film, which is Salient -10. So if anyone wants to back that, get a t-shirt or poster, film credits, that sort of thing, can do that. But yeah, it's not easy.
It's a nightmare, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it does help
exactly.
you.
It does help, and I think even if you didn't get the amount you're looking for, just the promotion for the film is pretty good from the crowdfund. And I did actually notice today that Indiegogo themselves tweeted out my film, so that was really nice of them.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Actually, not often they do that.
No, exactly. That's what I thought. Yeah.
That's a good thing. So Salient -10, you mentioned running a crowdfunding campaign now. What is the target that you're after?
3,000, which is kind of the bare minimum once you've kind of paid for all of your insurance fees and location costs, food and drink, travel expenses, festival fees and stuff like that. That's kind of the bare minimum really.
The campaign runs until?
Well, it's for another 7 days, so whatever that is. I should know this, shouldn't I? But
about 10. Yeah, 10,000,
about
something
10,
like that.
yeah.
And how much are you on now?
I think it's 1,850. So that's not too bad, yeah.
Doing really well. That's actually a campaign launch, and it was flying up, and I'm like, you're going to hit that target. Like, it doesn't come.
Yeah.
Quite sure what the correct word is, but it slows down to a certain point.
It does. It slows down into kind of a bit of a lull, and I think in that period of time, you really have to almost dedicate your life like a full-time job to try to get that funding up. But I can't really do that at the minute because I'm trying to do all the pre-production for my film as well. I almost need a clone at the minute.
You do often you tweet out that you just need clones because you do like everything.
Exactly.
It's not you go do this. Pretty much.
Yeah. I'm kind of one of those people that I try to do as much as I can myself, and I know Jason also does this. But the thing is, it's twofold. One, I think as a filmmaker on this level, you can do as much, as possible. is it does help maintain your vision, which is quite difficult. If you basically just said, okay, all I want to do is direct, I don't want to do anything else in my project, well, you can't complain if your vision isn't the same as you kind of thought from the off, which I've seen quite a lot. So that's the other thing.
Well, Jason, you're also a filmmaker.
Yeah, just what?
Tell me a little bit about it.
I've got 2 feature films out on DVD and Blu-ray. And basically, my first film was, it was also a TV series as well, and I actually made it into a TV series called Vampires, Brighter and Darkness. That was the first one. It was also shown, it must be about 5 years ago on Sky as well as a TV series. And then I went over to America and it was on Warner Brothers, came over there. So it's done quite well for itself, considering that it was a feature film and a series all cut out of the same thing. Done for 25 grand, and nobody believed that we could have done it for that. I remember going to film festival with it, and I was up against all these other people, like a £1 million, £2 million budget, and they were all like sitting there with their feature films, and my feature film came on for 2 hours long. And they all come to me afterwards and they were saying, oh, how much did it cost all this that? And I'm like, 25,000, and the back of the face just went like, how did you actually do it that way? I said, well, basically doing every single job myself. I said, the acting wasn't it. When you actually did your acting as well, wasn't it? But yeah, so my first film was Vampire Brighter and Darkness, and this one, my latest one's just come out now on DVD. It's actually sold out for the whole of the USA and Amazon, completely sold out. And for some strange reason, we've got a massive following in Japan. And so that's called Vampire Roots Rising, which we've got a trailer for in a bit as well. So literally, often the time most people is I've got absolutely no qualifications whatsoever to be a filmmaker. I've not been to university, nothing. I just literally decided about 8 years ago, because I've always been a massive film fan. Write a script, grab a camera, and do it. Luckily, it's worked. So you often find there's a lot. I often say there's a lot of dreamers in the film profession, and they've all got these ideas. And I've got many people throughout the years that are writing a script, and then 5 years later, 5 years later, they're still writing a script. I often say you need to merge being a dreamer to be creative and being a doer. And quite often, I often say that most films have to have an urgency about it. No matter what, you've got to have an urgency. You've got to push for it to be done. Push. And just get it done where people think, if you're going to sit back a little bit and first think, oh, wait till it's absolutely perfect. A film will never ever be perfect. I often was told that a film is never finished, it's abandoned.
Yeah.
Because like any piece of art, an artist will constantly, we can keep going back, recutting, re-editing, the whole lot, because you're never really satisfied with it. And at some point you've got to say to yourself, no, you've got to let it go. Otherwise you'll never go on to make your next movie or whatever. And you've got to be realistic that based on budget and things like that, it's not going to be perfect. You're going to have problems. That's another gripe of mine anyway, which I'm sure you'll agree with, that as independent filmmakers and everything, I cannot understand the big budget movies, how it's possible to make a bad movie.
Yeah.
No, we're restricted because of budget, but you've got like millions and millions of pounds being pushed into a movie. Why does it fail? Why is it not?
Do you not find it's because a lot of the big budget ones got all fixed up in post? That's the worst phrase you ever hear from the big budget film, all fixed up later on. Whereas you take independent filmmakers, go way back to John Carpenter's Halloween, it's like, right, we have 100 quid, we need to do this, use the brains, how can we work it out? That's how we do it. Whereas if you've got 200 million, you go, pay somebody to fix that. And it doesn't. Some of my favourite films now are independent films that probably cost 50 grand or 100,000 or something.
The thing is what I find as well is that a lot of the big budget movies, because the studios are terrified of trying something new, they have the same formula. Like it's like the beginning's all the same, the middle's all the same, the end's all the same. So it's like watching a James Bond movie where you're going to have a fight at the beginning and there's a love interest and then there's a big explosion at the end. That's why I'm not a big fan of James Bond movies. They're all the same.
Formula.
Yeah, formula. The thing films seem to have a soul about them, and this is what I noticed, especially with Emma's film season, it's season dogs. It's got a lot of personal energy in it, and you can tell the difference. You really can tell the difference. It's not just like plastic characters. It's a brilliant film to go by. It's absolutely amazing.
John, what's your involvement in the whole film world?
I'm just an actor in Jason's film, and at the end of this film, I play a very first acting job I've ever had. I met Emma through Jason. And that's really about it for me, to be honest with you.
No, I actually enjoyed it though, because I find it
You like to see in the trailer.
to speak to people who are at the beginning.
Yeah. I didn't think about 10 years ago I'd be, so yeah, I was a roofer in Wales, yeah. I never thought 10 years ago, not even, but it's kind of, yeah.
But it is cool.
Yeah, it's very different from what I thought it would be. Because I remember I was on top of an album, and he's filming me from the far away, and he's screaming directions at me, I'm trying to listen, I'm trying to play back, I'm trying to hold the cape. When I'm trying to wiggle me in the background, trying to win.
You should be used to it if you were a roofer. People like this.
Without a cape, in the background.
You don't wear a cape and you're roofing.
I'm used to all the men, I don't mind what it was just surrealness of this sudden thing and a big armor thing and the cape.
So that was actually on the Great Ormond Land.
Yeah. It was far from me, wasn't it?
So yeah, I mean that's the thing is it was John's first acting thing. We tried to get the main actor in when we Reese Houseman couldn't make it. He's been in like Game of Thrones. Not a massive part, but if any of you have you got Game of Thrones fans here? Basically, basically, he played the guy, the famous scene where one of the guys had his nipple cut off. He was the guy who actually had his nipple cut off, and he has a slide in it as well. So that's his. He's been in Hollyoaks and things like that. But he played the main part. It was a full prosthetic chest. It wasn't realistic. Obviously, he doesn't live his arm that much.
If that was Daniel Day-Lewis, that'd be great.
Oh yeah. I've been practicing what we take.
So Sally and Sam, what's the pitch on that?
Yeah, so basically it's more of a sci-fi film than Season 8 was. Season 8 has sci-fi elements, but it's more of a horror, action horror. This is more of a straight up sci-fi. But it's a very dark sci-fi, as you'd imagine coming from me, it's not going to be a nice happy one. And it does have more kind of, I wouldn't say gore, because it's not really gore, but it has more, sort of like shocking elements, I think, than Season 8 actually had. So it's going to be probably a little bit more on the horror path, oddly enough. So basically, what is it about? Well, the thing is, because I know what the film's all about, obviously, because I read it, but I was trying to break it down into a small amount without giving too much away. But basically, there's a lead character who's played by an actor called Dean Sills, and Dean is amazing. You've met Dean, I think, yeah. Really, really, really good actor. And he plays a character called Adam Harper, who's basically just a normal person, and he's on his way to work when something really crazy happens. And he's kind of like pitched into this kind of other dimension, where he has to play a game to kind of save his life and save the world. So that's more than the synopsis says. I've given away there, but the saying it -10 might give you a clue as to how long he's got to save the world and his life.
Yeah. What was the biggest thing you learned from doing Season 9 that you're taking on to
but there's lots of things really that I've learned from that. Some of the things are technical, like get your frame rate right, because I accidentally shot Season 9. It was a bit of a confusion between myself and one of my cinematographers when I was talking about slow motion, and the whole thing accidentally got shot in 30 frames a second, which is the American TV frame rate, which wasn't kind of what I was going for, but it doesn't really look like it too much in the end of it, which is great. And some of the other things are really, for this one I've really cut casting crew right down and taken a lot of the dialogue out, partly because it's just too much to be looking after a casting crew of almost 30 people by yourself. And the other thing is that the dialogue itself, for a short film maybe it was a little bit too much for Season 9, I don't personally think so, but it's kind of a matter of opinion. But yeah, this one I've gone completely the opposite way, and it's only got about 5 lines of dialogue, so yeah.
And this is also a short film.
Yeah, short film.
Do you ever, when you write a short film, do you ever think this is how short it's going to be? So it's going to be 20 minutes, 15 minutes, or is it just
No.
that's what it only gets before it's as long as the storyline needs to be?
I just wrote it for the storyline, but the thing is, the script comes in at 8 pages, but it could be longer than that because it just depends. I'm actually shooting this one because I wanted to try with cinematography as well. So it really depends on the kind of shots I make, and I want to make lots of artistic, kind of grandiose type shots. So it could be a little bit longer than 8 minutes, which is you usually average a page a minute. So, but if it is 8 minutes, it's better for festivals. So.
And is there a time scale for its release? Obviously, it's not fully been funded yet, so
Yeah.
it's been funded. No.
Yeah.
Is there a rough time scale?
It really depends on how long it takes for post-production. I mean, I've got to edit it myself, and then I'll be passing it to Eric Ealing, who's an amazing composer, LA-based composer, and he'll do the score, which, he's pretty quick, it might take him only a week, and then Davey Simmons to do the VFX, and then I'll need to get the sound design done independently as well. Because sound design is like a black art really for me, so I can't do that one. So once all those things are done and everything's in place and I've run it through a test audience, then I'll probably get it on a festival run. And that could be as early as December, or it could be as late as February. It just really depends how fast it goes.
Be ready when it's ready.
Yeah.
I mean, Eric's music on season up.
Yeah, amazing.
Because that's available as a soundtrack as well.
It is, yeah. So I helped him release it as a soundtrack, and we got that out as a press release and got it around the media and stuff, and he's done pretty well with that. So yeah, rightly so, because he's amazing. I'll be surprised if. Thank you.
Because when it was released, my timelines were popping up with people reviewing it, people talking about it, people retweeting it. And,
Yeah.
accidentally tapped into the season 9 thing or what.
Yeah.
No, we're really proud.
Thank you. Thanks.
Very good. If anybody has any questions, stick your hand up. Annette.
I've got one for Emma. For Emma, you said that you wanted to do everything.
Yeah. Partly because I enjoy it, I like to be challenged, and part kind of staying creative for me and staying interested in the creativity is to be challenged.
So what started you off?
What with filmmaking stuff. When I was in a Kim Wilde music video a couple of years back, and that was just acting, it wasn't anything to do with anything technical at all. But once I kind of saw the process and stuff and saw the end result, that's what interested me. And then I went on to interview loads of different filmmakers and stuff, and then I just kind of thought, okay, well, throw caution to the wind, I'll just go and do it, which is basically what I did. I just completely jumped in at the deep end and did it. So.
And you said you're a massive film fan?
Massive.
What's your favourite film?
I could never actually turn around and say one film in particular. Oh my goodness. I mean, there's Dawn of the Dead. And actually Dawn of the Dead remix, I think is one of the best remakes.
Which you prefer?
I like both of them. The weird thing is I like, obviously, the original has this amazing quality about it. It's got this rawness. But for actual skill, for actual to making jokes like that, I think the remake actually works better. So the original for nostalgic quality and things like that, and then I'd say the remake just for the sheer thrill. It's a sheer thrill, right?
Which one do you prefer, new one or old one?
I love them both, but it's got to be the old one.
Yeah, old one for nostalgia, like
Yeah.
you said, and new one because it is a scarier film than the original one. So, pretty cool. Anybody else have any questions? We've got a couple of clips of teaser trailers to show in. So which clip shall we introduce first?
Do season night first? It's only like 40 seconds. So.
The film is available online. I've watched it a few times. Really. So if we can play the teaser now.
exactly. Love it.
I think it's even by even just seeing it on the trailer, you can see the quality that's going into it. Because what impressed me was, for such a short film, a feeling of a big feature film quality, which I thought was amazing. You managed to achieve that. It's fantastic.
I remember when I did my review and put it on the website and stuff, one of the comments I put in it is, I want more now. Give me a feature film. And it was like,
Everyone said that. You know, like, that was my intention, was to expand it further. But after it cost like so much, I mean, you know, in film terms it's still peanuts, but it cost me a lot of money, and just the amount of time it took to do that, and the amount of people I had to have on board, you know, and I mean, a lot of that, the beautiful quality of that is down to my cinematographers, AJ Cindy and Donato Ciucco. They were fantastic and totally on my wavelength, so I have to give them some credit for that. But yeah, I would like to, but it's just time and money.
Well, hopefully we'll have
Always money, isn't it?
Yeah.
Jason, we have a clip?
Yeah, I was going to say, it's a bit longer, a mini film. Yeah, this is the extended trailer. It's like about 3.5 minutes long. It was done for Aristocle Entertainment, which is our distributor in Hollywood. We've actually got distribution from Hollywood. So. And basically, this is to show more for like the audience in America, which like they usually like a longer, for some reason, a longer trailer. There's then children in the audience. There's a few adult sort of things.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how adult?
6. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. Yeah, so I'd say if you want to view it now, it's like a mini film in itself. So it's imagine basically the film is, if you can imagine Queer as Folk meets Twilight. It's a slightly gay element to it, but it's not actually a gay film. It's just so happens that two of the vampires in it are actually gay. Films about vampires and demons and witches and anything you can throw at it. Picture it was. No, it's like True Blood actually. Yeah, it's like True Blood. Oh, it's like True Blood. But anyway, if you want to show that, thank you.
go on with it. That's a very sort of gothic hammer type feel.
Yes, it's my homage to that. It's my favourite game.
It works. That's good. So has anybody got any final questions before we release these three? But if people want to donate to your campaign, they can approach you downstairs and
They
get
can.
details and stuff.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And then follow you on Twitter, mdarkofficial.
Yes.
Question, Chase. After the success of your first feature in TV series in the US, have you had trouble raising the money that you need to make the second feature?
Well, that's the second. That's actually the second feature. That's the first feature was 25,000, and the second one cost 65,000. And that was all made through private funding. It wasn't done through any crowdfunding or anything like that. So I just basically approached lots of business people and things like that, and just said, "Give me money." Basically, it worked.
That's good. But now I wish you all three of you, the very best in all films and stuff. Well, hopefully, John, you're very proud of what you've done. Keep doing it.
He's actually one of the main characters in the third film because we've got a trilogy of the trilogy stories.
Was that you with the cake?
Yeah, yes. That was that didn't know. Great film.
So what's it like watching yourself on screen? Have you got beyond that bit where you go,
No, I've gone beyond that. When we did the premiere in Chester, I was like in the seat, like trying to shoot the seat. I was like trying to cut the seat. And I was like, after that, I was like, that's fine with it. I'm not really. When I was younger, I was really, really nervous, very shy about myself, and I wouldn't talk to anyone. I couldn't do this. But after being in the film and being shown, like, how many was it in the premiere? 250. Yeah, after that, I was like, and I work in the pub now as well, so I work behind a bar, so I'm constantly entertaining people and talking to people, so I really, that part of me's died a long time ago. So
Did you feel better for it?
yeah, I'm happy to be now on the big screen, but I'm quite easy with it.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. Well, best of luck to all three of you.
Thank you very much.
And keep in touch. But enjoy your day downstairs. You've got booths downstairs, a table, so people can come up and say hi and get autographs and stuff. And did you come in?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Emma, Jason, and John. Round of applause. Now we have the next panel of the day. This is the first panel that I'm really, really nervous about doing because this show is massive. I'm pretty sure everybody's up to date on Game of Thrones, hopefully. Because you never know what questions you get asked, and maybe a spoiler or two. I know how twitchy people get if the show gets ruined. So we have four wonderful people from the world of Game of Thrones. We firstly have Ian White, who's played several characters, One White Walker, Gregor Clegane, and Longo the Giant. So bring on the wonderful Ian White. Round of applause to Ian. Ian also will be appeared in the film, which I was aware of months and months ago, called Cannibals and Carpet Fitters. He starts shooting in his scenes in November. So
which is as hilarious as it sounds.
Next up, Rosso Hennessy, the Lord of Balls from season 5. Serene Sever played Lahara, season 4 and season 5. And Ross Mullen from season 2, season 3, season 4 as a White Walker. The other reason we're nervous about doing this panel is not only are these four awesome people from one of my favourite TV shows in front of me, but I know it's going to be a lot of questions, which on one hand is easy for me, because it means less talking for me, more interaction for you. If anybody's got any questions, put your hand up. Myself or my co-host Bob will run over the microphone and get it done. I'm going to stand back here in the dark, because before I couldn't see people raising their hands. Firstly, welcome.
Thank you.
The Thrones cast.
Thank you.
Where do you start with Game of Thrones?
Well, the easiest way to start is just to ask, is everyone up to date? Because that kind of limits the answers we're allowed to give.
It does look like somebody could go Saul Johnson. Like, so yeah, it does seem to be.
The end.
Hopefully that will go well. This has been the shortest panel in history. I'll just wait for that. Somebody's droid gone off.
It's on my aftershave that sets off the fire alarm.
Can you imagine, though, even if this panel ended at this moment in time, it still would have lasted longer than some of the characters in your show.
We could just take it outside.
Hopefully that will shut up before long. Somebody having a sneaky smoke in a toilet cubicle or something.
Table clips.
Thank
you.
Round of applause for not the fire alarm going off. So yes, so hopefully everybody is up to date on Game of Thrones. What was your story? I mean, I'm going to ask each of you individually. What is your memory of first getting involved with the series?
My first audition was for the Mountain in Series 1. Didn't get the part and forgot all about it. 3 months later, they called me up and says, "We've got another part for you. We'd like you to play the White Walker in Season 1, Episode 1. Don't have to audition again. Part's yours." So that was it. Series 2, they invited me to re-audition for the role of the Mountain. Got the part this time. Quite a bit more involved than in the first series. A lot more dialogue, a lot more scenes. Season 3. Oh, I was still playing the White Walker at that time as well. And there was one scene, so about halfway through, where Jon Snow sees Craster laying one of his baby sons. Oh wait, no, it's not. It wasn't Craster at all. It was the one of his wives laying one of the sons in the forest for the White Walkers to carry off, and you couldn't see anything at all because it was black. Series 3 was the first time we see a giant, and I've been doing that ever since. And they're both now. Oh no, spoilers. No. All the giants are alive, honest.
They will come back, because, Jon Snow.
I think they've played that card already.
That's
played to bring the guy back from the dead card already. I don't think we're going to see that plot line again.
Right, so I did this TV show called Da Vinci's Demons, and after I finished my 2 seasons on there, I got a phone call. And it was an actor called Edward Dugliani who had played the Lord of Bones for 2 of the seasons, and he wasn't going to do it anymore. Did you want to take over? And I was like, Game of Thrones. A week later, my parents phoned me up and said, how's the new part? And I went, I die. Like everybody, you die at some point. So I was extremely happy to get it, and then extremely upset to find out I died.
I'm still alive, but I haven't caught up, so I'm probably more behind than anybody in the room. But yeah, I'm still alive. I auditioned actually through my agent, which was very lucky, but I didn't really know anything about it. And I had a lot of friends who had read the book and were really enthusiastic, and they were like, oh my God. And I had to call up a friend of mine, and I said, who's Lara? Is Lara in the book? And he was rushing through, went through the book, and he's like, I don't think so, I think they made her up. So I just went along, and I was the only redhead in the room, so I thought, they're not looking for redheads. And I got it. The casting director was like, yeah, it's perfect, great. And just ushered me out as quickly as possible. And so I just thought I'd never hear from him again. But yeah, that's how I got the first season. Second season, I was doing I was understudying Kerry Mulligan in Skylight, and I was doing a performance there. And I think the casting director got reminded of me. I think that's how I got the second season. And they just texted me and said, you're getting on a flight in a few days. And I said, who is this? What's this for? So that's how I got my second season. Yes, I was very lucky.
I got a call from my agent to go to a casting for the show, and I had worked with Connor O'Sullivan before on Clash of the Titans. He had done all the prosthetics on The Witch that I was playing in that. And I showed up and I thought I was auditioning for King of Thrones. So I literally said, I'm here for King of Thrones. And Nina Gold said, well, it's actually Game of Thrones. And I said, oh, it's a game then, because I thought maybe I'd never heard of it. So she kind of explained to me that it was a really successful, it had been in one season, and it was based on all these books. Met with Connor, he showed me a new concept that they were looking at for the White Walker, because it was just after Ian had played it. So they were trying to re-envision what he would look like. They showed me loads of drawings, images. We went through ways that he would walk and pick up babies and point his sword and fight. And then they sent me off horseback riding lessons, and I did it for 2 seasons, you know. I went into my second season, which was season 3, kind of blind again. I was just called, they need you next week because they bumped up the schedule. Can you make it? So I did. When I arrived for my rehearsal in Northern Ireland, Michelle McLaren, who was directing it, said, so you come in and you're trying to get the baby and he stabs you in the back and then you die. And I went, oh, okay. And she went, did you not know you die? And I went, no. And she went, oh, it's like my worst nightmare to tell an actor that they're dying right in the middle of rehearsal. And I said, you know, it's okay, they'll probably bring me back next year, which they did. I came back the following year as a different White Walker, and I handed the baby over to the Night King. And that's me done. You know, that was all my 3 seasons.
I've got a great story about Edward Dogliani, by the way, yeah. By way of an intermission.
Can you talk about it here, or do you want to be private?
No. I've told a story before. We were in Iceland. It's the only time I shot the Giants on location. It's the first time we see them actually in the wilding camp. And Edward Dogliani and I flew over to Iceland, and we met at the airport. And we flew onwards to a town in the very north of the country called Akureyri, which was kind of the holding place for the whole Game of Thrones crew. They just had about 6 feet of snow, which is great for the location, but it was an hour and a half away over the mountains. So we were stuck in Akureyri. So we went out, met some of the locals, had a few drinks, had a bite to eat, got a little bit drunk. And we were sitting in the hotel waiting for the phone call to say, you know, there's a bus on its way, the snow plows have cleared the road, we're coming to pick you up. And so we're sitting in the bar, having a beer, watching the football on the television, and this terribly well-spoken lady, very well dressed, walked past, and she says, you men, what are you doing? And we said, we're having a drink, watching the football. No. What are you doing in Iceland? I said, oh, well, we're actors. We're shooting a TV show called Game of Thrones. And she says, oh, marvellous. Yes, I've heard of this. Okay, well, if there's anything I can do, then let me know. And she walked away. And we looked at each other like this, and we said, what do you think she meant by that? Well, 2 minutes later, she walked through the bar again. So we stopped her and said, well, what did you mean, if there's anything you can do? And she said, oh, I'm terribly sorry. I didn't introduce myself properly. My husband is the president. And we looked at each other again and said, president of what? And she beamed from ear to ear very proudly and said, Iceland. Would you like to meet him? We looked at each other and said, actually, yes. We went into the restaurant of this hotel, and there's the president of Iceland sitting on his own in the back having a nice piece of fish. We got a selfie.
Did he like take you to the side and say, what's going to happen in future episodes?
Well, I was telling this story to one of the guys on the crew, one of the Icelandic guys. And he says, oh, yeah, sure. I know who he is. I used to snowboard on his lawn.
I mean, for sort of all you guys, it's not a problem. It's probably a bad word, but is it a problem for people coming? Oh, tell me stuff. How do you get so used to going? I ain't discussing plot lines. I don't care what I've read. Just go away because
they
there's
tell
only
us nothing.
Yeah, the
we
truth
don't
is
know.
we don't know.
Yeah.
Do you prefer it that way? I suppose you'd have to lie if under interrogation.
For something this big, it's quite nice because you really don't know anything, and it's better that way. Otherwise, you'd be asked all the time.
Or sometimes I just lie and I say I do know and I just tell a lie. I just do. I just because people go, "Is Jon Snow dead?" And I go, "Yes." That's all. They'll find out. I don't know, really.
And
I just make it up.
Also, it's like a lot of fans ask about all the other worlds, but you only really get involved in the world that you're filming. So if you're in the Wildings, you get involved in the Wildings, and they're generally the only people you meet on film set. If you're in King's Landing, you get involved in King's Landing. So you only actually know the world that you're creating at any one time. You don't know the whole story.
We only get to meet each other at these conventions. Yeah. It's like, I've never met Serene or Ross before, so Ian I know, but yeah.
Nice. We're bringing foreign lands together. It's nice. It's a good
beautiful.
I've heard a story from several people that are in Game of Thrones where they get their script or whatever, and then still alive. Is that something that people? Is it something that you do? You go, oh no.
I don't speak, so they don't give me scripts until like I show up actually on set, and then I just take it and put it to one side, and I just say, "What do you want me to do?" You just show me. I look at the storyboards. That's all, you know. But I don't really look at the script. I don't really need to. All I ever said was, "Ah!" You know. I guess that's written somewhere, but I didn't need to look at it.
So it's kind of like on Tuesday we'll need you to do the
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. What time Tuesday? 10 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly.
So, 'cause I was talking to some of the Walking Dead cast when I was at another Comic-Con, and they were telling a story about one of their colleagues. He'd got his script, and he's part way through it, and all his colleagues kept coming up going, oh. He's like, why do they keep doing that? And he found out why they kept doing that. Cause, so I just wondered if that was the same sort of thing for
Dying is usually great fun. You know, you always want to die in the best possible way. How many different deaths can you do? So sometimes it's great to die.
What would be the best possible way for each of you? If you're like, I could write my own death scene in the very last episode, obviously, so you're in it all the way through.
This is a scene from Monty Python and the Meaning of Life, isn't it?
Possibly. I have a dead
Do you
parrot
remember
over here
that?
somewhere.
Have you seen Monty Python and the Meaning of Life? You see at the end where he gets to choose his own death?
Yes.
I did a production of Sherlock Holmes years ago, and it was sort of like a carry-on version of it. It was like very comedic, and I played Mrs. Hudson, his housekeeper. And she gets brutally murdered in this version. Stabbed brutally, her ear cut off, thrown into the audience, tongue cut out. I loved that death. Because at one point I had to relay to Sherlock Holmes, you know, who had murdered me just as I was dying. And so I had to crawl out into the audience because he couldn't hear me. He was going, Mrs. Hudson, I can't hear you, I can't hear you. So I went and I got the ear back from the audience and I handed it to him and he puts it up to his ear and I said, it's Moriarty. And he was like, great comedy, loved it.
You also played a werewolf in Howl.
Yeah, I did.
Yep.
I
Paul
played
Hyatt,
blonde.
fantastic filmmaker is Howl.
Did you
Paul
like
Hyatt.
it?
I love it, yep.
I look like a crazy naked crack addict from King's Cross. I look crazy. Yeah, I play the blonde, beautiful, of course, she-wolf in that. Yeah, and I kill Ed Speleelers from Downton Abbey.
If you haven't seen Howl, check it out. It's amazing.
It's a good movie, yeah.
Definitely. Because I was looking down the filmographies of each of you, because obviously you're here in the capacity of Game of Thrones, but it's Cannibals and Carpet Fitters, Howl, and so on. It's Knights of the Damned, which he's co-starring with a couple of friends of mine, Zara and Ben, who I've known from other stuff. So you guys are seriously busy. So it's good. But hopefully people have got some questions. I could just chat with these people all day, and it would suit me fine. But if you have got questions, stick your hand up.
Question? There's a question there.
Gentleman there.
Hey, I was going, you know when the giant character, when you knock down the wall in Castle Black, how badass did you feel at that point? Because I was rooting for you at that moment, like, when we did knock on the door, it's like, ooh.
Oh, the door of Castle Black?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool, because we were going to... What were we going to do? We were going to get Jon Snow's body, weren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was... That was really cool.
Did they make the door really small for you, so you're really
it's
big?
Not really small. It's not third size. All the set pieces are scaled down by a third.
Cool.
So I'm still battering down doors and still getting poked by men with spears who seem to enjoy their work far too much. And still getting stabbed with arrows and stuff like that. But the way the process is, because the giants have to be size enhanced in post production. By the time I get out to Belfast, most of the cast and crew have packed up and gone home. So all the battle scenes, the human elements, all the bloody stuff and the muddy stuff, the dead horses, etc., is all done first, because it's a lot easier to match one actor's scene to everything that's been done before, rather than match a bunch of horses to one actor. So it's just me and the visual effects team and a bunch of miniature doors.
Thrilling.
Anybody else got any?
Question? Over there.
Okay, gentleman over there.
Yes.
Coming through. It's hard to see with lights blasting in your face who's got the hand up sometimes.
Hello, yeah, I've only got a couple of minutes, so I've got to be back. But here's a debate that's always been like, when spoke about Game of Thrones, this is like for everyone. Who's the most hated character? Ramsay Bolton or King Joffrey?
I hated Roose Bolton more than I hated Ramsay Bolton, actually. Honestly, fatherhood went out the door with that guy. He was willfully raising a psychopath.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Ramsay, yeah.
And he was surprised when he killed him.
Yeah.
I actually can't make my mind up because they're hateable for different reasons, aren't they?
Yeah.
Ramsay's an adult who's gone crazy, and Joffrey's a child that you can't control. They're like different elements of the same evil, but a different age bracket. It's hard to know which one you take the most.
Could go on for another hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of after Joffrey departed the series, people said, "Oh, there's never got his most hated character on TV," and then Ramsay popped up, and you're like, "Well, maybe somebody's trying to take his title."
I loved watching him die. I loved it. Yeah, I think I rewound it and watched it again,
Screensaver.
And what's his name when his head was popped? I had to rewind that too. That was great. Yeah. Yeah. More death.
Ross Mullen is genuinely insane.
Yes, I'm genuinely insane.
I mean, yep, Annette's got a question.
Who would be the person you'd most want to play in Game of Thrones now?
Cersei.
Other than the characters.
Cersei, definitely.
Cersei.
Yeah. Blows up cathedral, sips wine. I love that. I love it. Trying to, waterboard that woman. I loved it. Break her fingers. Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't seen it all, so I can't really say yet. I have to wait till I get to the end and then tell you.
I mean, how far up to date are you?
I've seen some of season 4.
Yeah.
So I'm really behind, and I'm in it. So just goes to show.
That's quite a common thing though, because a lot of casts, obviously, you're busy making it.
Yeah.
So you're not
really,
like us, where we're like, oh, well, it's Monday.
Sometimes you don't see things you do. Sometimes you just do them, and then they come out years later, and you haven't seen it. Sometimes you just do the job, and you never even see it, or you decide not to. I know some actors who deliberately do not see anything that they've done on TV.
Ross, who would you like to play in Game of Thrones?
Joffrey or Ramsay? Being given a complete open book to be as nasty and as evil as you want in any direction must be wonderfully freeing and a little bit enjoyable.
Hopefully shake the character off at the end of the day, though.
Yeah.
Ian, who would you?
I was genuinely upset when can't remember his name now.
Grief-stricken you are.
Character played by Ian McElhinney. Anyone?
Nope.
Oh.
So Ian B. Which one?
Ian McElhinney. Master Swordsman.
Oh,
Swordsman
yeah.
of Westeros.
Yeah.
It was a knight, a classical knight in a very heroic sense. Barristan Selmy, thank you very much.
I find that with
Real
Game of Thrones
fan there.
There's that many names of characters and places, and sometimes I struggle to remember who half. I know who everybody is in the show, but somebody says who's such and such. I'm like, I don't know. So
I got that way when I was reading the books. I only read like the first 3 or 4 books, but I got to the point where I was leafing through the book, and I was thinking, I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea who half of these people are. And I had to go back another 150 pages to try and figure out what was going on.
No.
But you watch the show, you get the basics of
Yeah.
it, and you can then follow the journey and do it that way. So it's very, very good. Any more questions?
Question? There's one at the back. It's Catwoman, I believe.
Run, Bob, run.
Oh. Catwoman.
For all of you, who would you like to see sitting on the Iron Throne? Cersei, Daenerys, or Jon Snow?
Cersei's on it now, so I'd like to see maybe Daenerys on it for a bit, and I'd like to see a big fight between the two of them. Jon Snow gets involved. I don't know. I want them all to die. There you go.
If you have to die, we have to die.
Yeah, everybody
Everyone
has to
should
die.
So we've got 2 more years of it, haven't we? And then it's concluded.
I'm sure Daenerys will get one of our dragons to melt down the Iron Throne.
Yeah, and make it into a coin.
Replace it with a sofa.
Yeah, replace it with a comfy sofa, because that does not look like it's a comfy throne at all.
If that happens, you 2 get paid for it, because obviously you said it good first. That's pretty good. Any more questions? You're up? Yeah.
Now that you've run smoothly into that for the next 2 years, how is it all going to end, and where are you going to go after all of this? In terms of spin-offs, where are you going to go?
Where are we going to go? Where's it
Yeah,
going to go?
I mean, it's all been talked on the internet, isn't it, at the moment? Spin-offs and continuing on with the...
You know more than we do.
There has been talk where people have been like, maybe they can spin it off into this, that, and the other. The same thing happens sometimes with the game.
Prequels, you know.
Dead Goal, but would you like to see Game of Thrones spin-off, or do you think, I think it should just be Game of Thrones?
No, George R. R. Martin is such a prolific writer. I read an article in the news last week that said he's optioned another one of his properties. I forget what it was called. It was basically a post-World War II superhero story in America. But he's such a prolific writer, and he's put so much time and effort into this world. I mean, he created this world. He created every aspect of it. I'm sure you could be telling Game of Thrones spin-off stories until you're blue in the face. Really.
But this current series, it probably will end in tears. That's what I think. Yeah, I don't know. It sounds like it's going to go into a huge battle now. I think that's pretty obvious. A massive, massive battle, which will probably go over 2 seasons. And yeah, then I think, I don't know, I've heard rumors of prequels. That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
Prequels to people's stories. It'd be great to go back and hear, about Daenerys' father. All of that story would be great to see come to life, maybe.
Who created the Dothraki language? Daenerys and that, the language they talk. So it's quite made up, isn't it, when she speaks and things, Khaleesi, she speaks in their own language. I don't know who made up that language.
I don't know.
No idea. It could be George R. R. Martin himself. We don't know.
Anybody else? No, I should be winging it for now. Sorry.
I've got one.
Oh, let's go.
What's next for you as actors?
Hannibal's carpet is not
I'm doing a comedy horror movie called Cannibals and Carpet Fitters, amongst other things.
I'm shooting a zombie movie at the minute, which is going to be a trilogy of zombie movies called Knights of the Damned. And the irony is how connected to Game of Thrones it is. So I rocked up to costume fitting, and the costume designer has something on the wall which is called a mood board. It's not what the costumes are like, but it's what helps her to create the mood of how the zombie should look. And as I walk into the costume fitting, there's me in my costume from Game of Thrones and all the White Walkers across the wall. And she's using that as her mood creation for creating the zombies in the film that I'm shooting.
It's totally original.
That's been a bit weird.
I quite liked it, actually.
I've got 2 films coming out by Lost Eye Film. One is The Risen 2, so I've got to wait for The Risen 1 to come out, so you can look out for that. And I get a nice brutal murder death scene in that. I also get another death scene in The Gatehouse, which is from Lost Eye Film as well. And that's coming out in a couple of months, I believe, premiering in a couple of months. So that's really exciting. And I'm doing theatre at the moment, actually. So I'm doing Michael Morpurgo's King Arthur. I've just been in Edinburgh, doing 2 shows in Edinburgh, which is pretty crazy. And a really young kids show, Pocket Full of Grimms, which is all the Grimm's fairy tales. So I played about 12 characters in that, and about 6 characters in King Arthur. So I was playing something like 18 characters up in Edinburgh, and that's going on tour. So watch out for that. I can't say where it's going to be, all over the place, and I couldn't say off the top of my head where it's going to be, but starting in October.
I completed on a sci-fi thriller called Zoohead earlier this year, and I just literally last week completed on a horror movie called Charismata. Zoohead, I play like a doctor who's doing tests on patients in the future, wiping their memories. They're addicts, and I'm wiping their memories and replacing it with dreams. Memento style sci-fi thriller. And Charismata is a voodoo sort of serial killer horror, and I play a guy who runs and sells voodoo paraphernalia out of a warehouse online, and he's kind of a bit like me.
Cool.
I mean, for those of you who might not know a little bit of trivia about Ian, you've been in 3 Alien-connected movies as well. Prometheus, Alien v Predator, Alien v Predator, Requiem. So what's that like?
What's that like? Alien vs Predator was my first movie. It was quite literally a baptism of fire. Straight into the deep end. Never even been that close to a movie set before in my entire life. And to be given one of these, one of the most iconic science fiction characters in movie history was quite daunting. And before I left, the whole movie was shot in Prague. Before I left home to go to Prague for 6 months, my wife said to me, look, I know you're going to be doing a lot of your own action, a lot of your own stunts, that's fine, just don't let them set you on fire. So week 1, we did the scene where Lance Henriksen's character, Wayland, sets fire to an oxygen bottle with an emergency flare, resulting in an inferno which engulfs the Predator. Now, the full body burn was done by a professional stuntman. Fire's very, very dangerous. But for the close-ups, there's stuff called fire gel, and it's just this gel. They stick your hand in a bucket, you get big handfuls of the stuff, and they put it over the costume or wherever they want the flames to be, and it flickers away for about 30 or 40 seconds and then goes out nice and safely. So we covered pretty much the back of the costume in this stuff. And light it with a blowtorch. I've got still images of it downstairs. Come and have a look. The shot from the movie. There's like a few wisps of flame on my shoulders. But after we shot the scene, the director pulled me over to the monitors and says, "Come and have a look at this." And almost every single take, I was a blazing inferno. I heard the first AD say no to the special effects supervisor. He's not supposed to be on fire. You can put him out now.
Oh my God.
So then you go from that, your first one being an inferno for how many weeks, and then you come back to play another Predator in the sequel. Was there no flames involved in that one for you?
The Requiem was almost the total opposite. Instead of being shot it was shot in a studio complex, but was mostly on location in British Columbia, in the pouring rain at night. Now, British Columbia is lovely, but it's not a tropical paradise. There's two ends of the spectrum. It's, you know, these characters that are characterized by large rubber costumes. It's either boiling hot or freezing cold. Now, doing the Predator in the first movie, the first AVP movie, you know, lots of action, lots of repetition, over and over and over again. You get hot. There's nowhere for the heat to go. You just get hotter and hotter and hotter, and that's part of the job. As soon as these costumes get wet, they lose all their properties of insulation because they're just big sponges. And there's no way of drying them off quickly, so that they get wetter and wetter and wetter, and colder and colder and colder. And we're shooting these elaborate fight scenes on the rooftop in British Columbia, and Tom Woodruff, who's playing the alien, we just cannot stop shaking in action because we're just freezing cold. Close to hypothermia twice in that movie.
They come back for Prometheus, play the engineer. So 3 alien movies, not too bad.
Prometheus was an absolute joy. I mean, I'd already met Ridley Scott and done about 4 or 5 makeup tests for Conor O'Sullivan, who's the prosthetics makeup supervisor, who I knew as a mutual friend of mine and Ross's, who I knew before from Game of Thrones and Clash of the Titans and a few other things. And he said, look, I'm not offering you the part, but we need to do makeup tests for this character. It's a big character. And but if it all goes well, then we will push for you to get the part. And it wasn't I'd done all these makeup tests and a camera test, actually met the director, that actually went in and officially auditioned with the casting director. And the scene I auditioned for Nina Gold was the only scene in the movie that I didn't shoot, and it was the scene at the top of the waterfall, right at the beginning, where the engineer makes the grand gesture of self-sacrifice to supposedly seed the planet with life. And we did a full body makeup test for this character, and I'm always getting confused. I'm always getting people coming up to me and they said, "Oh wow, that looked amazing." Well, actually, it's not me. In the original script, there was supposed to be like 4 or 5 of us on top of this waterfall, and I did the full body makeup test, and it took about 12 hours. And so they figured out that in order to reduce the volume of silicone used in the process and the time involved, actually had 2 teams, one team to put it on and one team to take it off. They could put it on somebody a lot shorter. So the guy who is the actor in that scene, who's a model actually, he's no taller than Rob. In fact, considerably shorter than you. Considerably shorter than you.
Considerably shorter than you, but taller than most.
Anybody? Anybody have questions for these wonderful? Sure. Jeez. Not often we get them all in the same room.
This one's for Ross. My son's a huge Doctor Who fan. Which was your favourite character?
Of the 2 that I played, I have to say the Teller. You know, I really, really enjoyed working with Keely Hawes and Peter Capaldi. The whole cast were brilliant. The team was really great. I overheated on set on the very first day, and Keely Hawes was just super amazing. She was like, "Somebody get this guy a glass of water." I really enjoyed it. And I also, I suffer from not understanding a lot of what's going on in Doctor Who. It goes over my head a bit. And the Teller I could understand, Time Heist I could understand because it was really a bank heist. But we had a lot of fun shooting it. The team was really nice, it was good, really good. And I liked it, I felt very welcome on set. Peter Capaldi came, said hi to me when I first arrived on set and said he was a big Game of Thrones fan and loved the White Walker. So I was like, oh, wow, cool. That's awesome. Yeah. So that was my favorite.
I mean, obviously everybody in here loves Game of Thrones, and it's usually on your favourite shows of all time type lists. Question for each of you: what is one of your favourite shows that you watch from any year?
I just finished watching it. About a month ago, I finished watching a show called Vinyl. It was on Sky Atlantic, and it's brilliant. If you haven't seen Vinyl, it is amazing. Unfortunately, they cancelled it after the first series. I think the amount of drug taking involved upset people in power, and they haven't renewed it. They should, because it was at the time the best thing on TV.
The Martin Scorsese connection as well, wasn't it? So
it was produced by Martin Scorsese.
I like
Mick Jagger.
I really like I like a lot of different things. You know, it depends what I want from TV, really. I loved Happy Valley. I love Happy Valley. I think it's an amazing series. I would love it to continue and continue and continue. I loved Stranger Things. That's a good nostalgic trip that I loved. But you know, when I go home and I just want to laze out and laugh, I love The Real Housewives of whatever city, because watching women with plastic surgery screaming at each other is just so far removed from my world. I love it. So yeah, that's kind of me and TV. It's, you know, a relationship of what I'm hungry for.
Don't worry. I watch Dance Moms.
Oh, I love Dance Moms. Abby Lee Miller is, a psychopath, and I love her. And should always be working with children, of course.
Brilliant. And over the last couple of years, I think, I watched the first season specifically. The second season is good as well, but True Detective was, for me, one of the best shows I've seen in the last few years. And I just can't even put into words how brilliant it is. So if you haven't watched it, the first season, Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson, all absolutely fantastic. All the acting, directing, writing, amazing.
What about yourself, Ross?
The Walking Dead.
Are you up to date on that?
Not this last season, because I've been filming, but that will be watched.
It's very good, obviously. But yeah, it's, what about Fear the Walking Dead? Have you
I haven't watched any of that at all, no.
It's all right. It's good. Second season's more just like The Walking Dead, but the first season, the build-up is quite... A lot of people don't like it, but good stuff.
I'm also quite partial to the Great British Bake Off.
Oh, yeah.
A show that I'd be absolutely terrible on. This is me on Great British Bake Off. Ian, can you bring your cake to the table, please? Pardon? Excuse me?
I've made some crumbs. Yeah, with the bake-offs on, I get lots of work done because Annette's watching in, I don't.
There's a question over there.
Yes, I'm going.
From young... Oh, yes.
If you could be any Avenger, what would it be?
Avenger?
I'd be Steed.
I think... I was going to say, you must know because you got kids.
Mrs. Peel.
Have we had that joke already?
I don't... Aren't they? Are they all like different colors?
Yes, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't
The blue
know.
one. I don't know. I don't even know. I don't watch it. I feel terrible for it. Yeah, all of them, and I'd be amazing at each of them.
My little son Griffey thinks that I'm the Hulk, but not green.
We can fix that.
What about yourself, Serene? What would you be, Avenger-wise?
Well, I don't know them.
The pink
one. Is there a pink one?
There is now. Just make a pink one. Ian?
I have no idea.
I'd be...
All of them.
I don't know. I have trouble distinguishing between Marvel and DC. It's just a complete maze. I have no idea who's who and what's what.
It's a bit like me watching some of the earlier episodes of Game of Thrones. I'm like, what is he? I thought he wasn't in it. So it can, you need like a spreadsheet to work out this Marvel stuff sometimes. You know, you've got to watch this one first, and then that ties into that one. You're like, forget it. I just want to watch an individual film or a storyline. Put it on that way. So. Any more questions? Me.
I'd like to know, I'm in awe of Diana Rigg, right? And are you ever been in awe of anyone that you've worked with on Game of Thrones?
Working with Charles Dance was great. He's an absolute legend. But I wouldn't say I was in awe of him. It's the first thing he said to me, the first time I met him, you expect him to walk on set and be, the arrival of Charles Dance, fanfare and angels singing, etc. He walked on set and said, "All right, I'm Charlie." Fucking brilliant.
Awesome. I think being in awe of actors when you are an actor is a different thing, and it depends how it affects you. So I was really fortunate when I first left drama school. My first job was with Lauren Bacall, but I didn't know who she was because I was young. But then a bit later on, I did a show, and Russ Abbott was in it. And when I was a kid, he was on TV every Saturday, and I remember being more in absolute awe of Russ Abbott than I was of Lauren Bacall. So I think it depends on who you are and what your mental psyche is.
I don't get to work with a lot of people, but I worked with Hannah Murray in season 3 of Game of Thrones, and I guess we were, I'd rehearsed with her. We then had shot one day, and then finally, I think it was like the last day of shooting, I said to her, you look really, really familiar to me. And she went, "Oh, well, did you watch Skins?" And I went, "God, yeah, you're the girl on Skins." She was, because I loved her on Skins. She was incredible. And that kind of blew me away. I was a bit like, "Oh, wow, cool." But yeah.
I was more concerned about not having any clothes. So
yeah.
Wasn't worried about any of the other actors. Nothing as daunting as not having a costume, but a lot of hair. So it's not something I thought about.
I was once at an event very similar to this, and I arrived there first thing in the morning, and in the seat next to me was Robert Llewellyn from Red Dwarf, and on the other side was Colin Baker from Doctor Who, and on the other side of him was John Challis from Only Fools and Horses. And I almost shed a tear. And I went down the line and I said to them individually, "Thank you for being part of my childhood. Thank you for being part of my childhood. Thank you for being part of my childhood."
You were sat in the very same position Robert Llewellyn was sat in last year, actually, on that panel. And Ross, you were sat where John Challis was sat last year. Yep, definitely.
I'm honoured.
Any thrown questions?
There you go.
There we go, yeah.
It's Chris. Hey, Chris.
This one's for Serene. Being the only alive one on Game of Thrones, are you looking forward to your death? Because it will happen.
No, I haven't heard anything. So who knows? They could bring me back. But I honestly, you don't know. You really don't get given anything. And when you're there, I don't get anything more than the script that I have in front of me. So I would... that would be interesting.
You could be on the Iron Throne.
I could be killed in the bath that we could have a blood bath. that would be good.
You have to do the similar thing that Maisie Williams does, where she's like, "Bah, bah, bah, bah," and she just has so much fun with the fans, and she likes teasing people and stuff like that. So she's publicly known to do that. So just wind people up about plot lines, which is good.
I wish I could say more, but
you can't.
You don't know.
It's all a dream.
Other than yourself, obviously, because you've already said you didn't really have any clothes on. How long did it take for you all to get done into your outfits for Game of Thrones, for yourself especially, and for yourself as a White Walker?
When I was doing the Giants, prosthetics takes quite a while. It's about 3.5 hours. For the prosthetic application, costume's a doddle. That's on in 15-20 minutes. Longest makeup I've ever had has been about 8.5 hours. It's for a little-known horror movie, which actually had Kate Dickie in one of the lead roles. Game of Thrones link. Called Outcast. And we shot it in Edinburgh, in the winter time. It's about mostly at night, when it's about 10 below. And after an 8-hour prosthetic application, ironically, I was naked.
Yeah.
I played basically a werewolf without any hair. Imagine a werewolf without any hair.
I auditioned for that.
Slime.
So glad you got it. Yeah, I'm so glad you got that job. When I hear you talk, we've had this discussion before, and I was like, I'm so glad I dodged that bullet.
Absolutely hilarious, honestly. We were shooting in this housing estate just outside Edinburgh at night, and I've got this costume on, this prosthetics, basically head to toe. Teeth, hands, feet, the hair's a mess, and the biggest prosthetic gentleman sausage you've ever seen in your entire life. Dangling between my legs. And it's chucking out time. And the pub doors open, just around the corner. And a bunch of drunks come wandering straight through the set. Alright, can I be in your film? And one guy looked at me. Kids, cover your ears. He looked at me and his jaw dropped. He says, "Fuck me, look at the size of the cock on that man."
About yourself, Ross.
Sorry,
How
where
long was
were
it?
we?
Yes. It takes me 5 hours to get into the white makeup.
It takes me 5 minutes.
It takes you 5 minutes to get off your clothes.
I had a fitting for the mask that took a couple of hours because the mask was made to fit my head. But once I was on set, a couple of seconds, boom, it's in.
It's like you win the painful makeup award there, Ian. Ouch. What do you think about when you sat there for, however long in time? Not maybe so much 5 minutes, but 8 hours. Just.
You either sometimes you nod off.
Yeah.
Most of the time, you're just having fun with the crew.
Yeah.
You're
just
working in
chat
close
and gossip.
Yeah.
They all watch The Real Housewives too. Yeah, I don't know. I always get on really well with the makeup team. I love it. Actually, I love the banter, chat. You put the radio on or you put some music on. It's fun. It's a bit of fun. And yeah, it's not punishing, because if you're really, really tired, you can have a nap. You can go, I need to stretch my legs, or I need a little something to drink, I need something to eat, Everybody's patient. Nobody's awful. So they make it as pleasant as possible, really. And so you want to come back the next day. If it was really awful, you'd be like, I'm out of here, man. I don't want to do this anymore.
You have to know that that's, you expect that as part of the job. So you know what you're walking into for different parts. If you didn't, it would be a bit of a shock sitting there for 8 hours.
Does it take a while at the beginning of your careers to get into that mindset where you're like, right, I'm just going to sit here for however many hours?
Depends on your experience, I think, doesn't it? What you experience first.
Well, it's part of the job. You develop a method of whiling away the hours.
Well, after Clash of the Titans, I swore I would never do it again. I was 4 hours in makeup. I couldn't see anything. I was overheating. We had to be cut out of those suits. I thought I was going to die. My heart was racing. You were, I think, working on that day that I was taken off set. And they, Richard Zanuck, the late Richard Zanuck, had to come into the dressing room, and he was like, he's like, "Oh my God, we're killing you guys. I'm sorry, but it looks amazing. It looks incredible. We got to continue." So it was horrible. After that, I literally went home and cried in the hotel room, thinking, I don't want to go back to set tomorrow. Connor was brilliant, For the following 2 days, we had ice packs and cooled us down. Richard Zanuck stepped in and said, listen, whatever these guys need, they get. But when it was done and dusted, I was like, I am never doing that again, ever. And then Connor phoned and said, come and audition for King of Thrones. I thought, okay, all right. I
think I'm probably misquoting, but I think there's a quote where Judi Dench was being kept waiting on some film she was doing, and one of the ADs came up and said, Miss Dench, we apologise for the delay. And her reply was, you pay me for the waiting. It's the acting I do for free.
As a final question from me, you guys have all done a lot of different projects. What is one project from each of you that maybe doesn't get asked about much, but you would like to make people watch? So.
Oh yeah, definitely. I definitely have that. I was in a movie called The Sky in Bloom, and I play a Polish gangster in that, and it rocks. It's an incredible movie, and I've just done my third project with that film company, Hydra. They do amazing scripts. Charismata, the one I just did, is a Hydra film. It's going to be their biggest budget. They're great. Look out for them. Go on my IMDb. You can rent Sky in Bloom for like $1 or £2 or something like that on Vimeo. It's a great movie, set in London, great cast, amazing script, and I play a Polish gangster. Believable too. I do a really good Polish accent.
I actually did a short film with Harry Bradshaw. It was his master's, and we went to the Amazon jungle in Venezuela. And sometimes you do really extreme things, but it's not, it's not a well-recognized film. It's going to festivals now. But we spent a week doing the most extreme filming I have ever done in my life. I didn't think, every day I thought I was going to die. And it's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been to, but one of the harshest places to work in ever. And I've worked in the Saharan desert and places like that, but the Amazon jungle is nothing like it, and the work that you put in just doesn't get recognized. And that was such a beautiful film, and so hard to make. I got eaten alive. Everything eats you in the jungle, everything. And you have to drink, constantly, and everything's soaking wet all the time. And then you have to do this emotional acting on top, which I just thought, this is impossible, I'm never going to make it. And I was very surprised to see how far, I could go. And the limits of my, resources were really tested. So, that's called Bird Songs from the Amazonia. Bird Songs from the Amazonia. I think they had to change the title. So, yeah.
I saw you in something called the Jason Phillips Show, which I watched.
Yes, but that
a year and a half ago.
Hasn't been developed yet. It's a pilot.
Kylo Ren sent me the. Which sounds like he's in Star Wars, doesn't it? He actually had his name before Star Wars came out, but he showed me the pilot a while back.
Waiting to hear about that. Yeah.
Fingers crossed. It's good. It's very funny. What about yourself, Ross?
I shot an entire television series last year, which was written by a guy called Kurt Sutter, who wrote Sons of Anarchy and the whole of The Shield and the movie Southpaw, and. We shot it, and it is some mind-blowing stuff. The opening scene has us ripping the unborn child from a woman. It's a show set in 14th century Wales with a tyrannical overlord and Welsh villagers. And Fox TV put a massive amount of money behind it, massive budgets, huge actors in it. Stephen Muir from True Blood, huge performances. We even had Ed Sheeran come in and play a role on it, a rapper called Scroobius Pip. It was huge. And Fox killed it at the end of the first year. It was too horrific, too bloodthirsty, even for the American viewers. You can currently watch it on the History Channel Tuesday at 10 o'clock.
This is the Bastard Executioner, isn't it?
The Bastard Executioner is called, yeah.
What about yourself, Ian? Which?
A couple of years ago, I did a short film called Polar Bear. I was just a personification of the polar bear, but the reason you should watch it was directed and written by a theatre director called Sean Buckley, and it stars two young actors, boy and a girl. He was actually still in drama school when he was shooting this, and I think she had recently graduated from drama school. When we were shooting this thing, every scene, every take was the scene. And I've never been on a production where the actors had to have so much emotional stamina. These guys were incredible, such incredible, powerful performances from such young actors. They were really brilliant. absolutely amazing, and you should see it for that reason alone.
So that's my viewing thing filled up a little bit, so thank you very much. If there's no more final questions, a very big round of applause for these wonderful cast members from one of the best TV shows, Game of Thrones. Thank you. Good luck with Knights of the Damned, Cannibals and Carpet Fitters, theatre, everything you do. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, not at all.
That was fascinating. Yeah. He's lovely on you.
Ian, yeah.
He's so tall. How tall is he?
7'1".
You can see where he gets big.
Yeah. What's the next one?
I think it's 3 o'clock, the next one. Yeah, check in a minute.
You've got half an hour?
I'm exhausted after that.
Yeah.
Go get a break. Have a sandwich.
Have a drink or something. Yeah, that was the killer one for me.
It was really good. It was interesting. Really interesting. I felt a bit weird. I veered it off slightly from Game of Thrones. I hope you didn't.
Is Vader going to be all right standing there for a while?
Oh, I think so. I watched him
I did a talk at Pinewood, and Vader and stormtroopers from the UK were behind us, and all of a sudden Vader started going, and a hand came out and propped him up.
Wow, it must get pretty warm in that suit order.
Yeah.
So just gone downstairs to do a quick announcement, and then we'll get started.
Right, are these on?
They are indeed, yeah. Yeah. I'll take that one.
Are you going to ask me some?
I am indeed. I am the host. Yeah.
Well, then you're going to put it out to Q&A.
Yes. Yeah. Are you enjoying your day?
Yeah, it's
good.
good actually.
It's quite busy there now, so.
Yeah. Nice and steady sort of thing.
Mm.
Good. And it's not quite like the American ones, obviously.
No, I did San Diego Comic-Con
Yeah.
this year, and it was an experience.
Yeah. China was crazy. We went out to Beijing a couple of months ago, and that was just queuing all day long.
Nice. Here they come. I think Vader's got a bit of laryngitis or something, bit of a...
I don't like that hole there. I'd see him go down that.
It is quite unnerving. It's like stand still and go to the statue.
I think we'll have to ask Vader to stop breathing when we get going.
Do you want to put a microphone in front of him? 'Cause
I didn't mean it.
He's giving you that look. So have they been in a suit all day? Or have they been able to take the helmet off, a little bit of a breather? Have they been in the helmet all day, or have they been able to... You no idea? Just stalker. Jeez.
I know Dave Prowse, when they were filming, he would always take the helmet off and he wouldn't put it back on until they were ready to film again.
I'm not surprised, because
He
it must...
really found it quite claustrophobic, he did.
Have you worn one of those? No. Right. Wow. And there's no place to really put like a hairdryer or whatever like they did in the old... No.
That's partly why the chin vent was made bigger from A&H to Empire and Return of the Jedi. It was made bigger. to just let a
So they can
little bit
breathe.
more air in.
Yep. Right, well, let's crack on. And the doors are open so more people can comment. But you've got one of the most seriously impressive filmographies. So what I've done for each of these panels is I was printing up, this person's done this person. And I got to yours and it's like this.
Yeah, 48-year career in the film industry and 70 movies. I started way back in 1968 as an apprentice at Elstree Film Studios. And I was extremely lucky. I was the only apprentice sculptor ever in the film industry in this country. And I was lucky from the point they turned down 12 before me. And for me, it was lucky 13. And I was told before I ever went for the interview, don't expect too much because they've turned 12 down. But yeah, I waited for a week to get that letter. And it plopped onto the mat, and I picked it up, and yeah, I had the apprenticeship.
So what was it? What was the apprenticeship like, for you?
Well, mainly there was just me and the old guy I trained under in the sculpture workshop. Most of our work was on small British-made films, low-budget films like Digby the Biggest Dog or Boyfriend, and they were making the Avengers and the Saint and television stuff there as well. So that was it. The day I came out of my apprenticeship, I was made redundant because I think the way the industry, there wasn't a lot of film work being made, and the old guy that I trained under was making sure that he wasn't the one to go. So I went the day I came out of my apprenticeship. But it did me a lot of good, actually, because I went to a company up in London and I spent 3 years doing prestigious work all over London. I'd work on Val with the Queen and Queen Mother. So, yeah, I honed my skills up in that 3 years, and it was after 3 years that I got a call. Would I be interested to go back into the film industry to work on a sci-fi movie? By the name of Star Wars. They needed some strange characters sculpted, so I said, yeah, I'd love to come back in. Initially, they told me it was just 6 weeks because they didn't know what I could do, and I ended up staying the whole picture, so they were very happy with what I did.
And so what was the process of you go onto this film, the Star Wars, at the time, and was there like a formal interview sort of thing where you sat down, or was it show me what you can do?
No, it was come in, work on the film. I started off on the Stormtrooper armour. That was in January of 76. The film didn't come out till the following year. So yeah, I started on the Stormtrooper. George Lucas came up once or twice and liked what he was seeing. Then Liz Moore, who had sculpted C-3PO, left the picture at the end of January. She went out to a film Bridge Too Far to be with her boyfriend at the time. And so it was then down to me to do everything that was left on the film. So I worked 76 days without a day off. Following the Stormtrooper armour, I did the finishing work on C-3PO. Then John Barry said to me, will you go down to the wardrobe? There's a little drawing there. We want you to start on a new character. The name of the character is Darth Vader. So I went down to see John Mullo, costume designer, and he had a small line drawing from one angle. They'd moulded Dave Prowse and recreated him in plaster. So that's what I had to sculpt Vader on. So being that I knew I had the mask and the helmet to do first, I cut it off at the shoulders so I could put that onto a sculpting stand. Started with the mask on top, and I knew that I had to put at least 1/4 of an inch at the lowest point of Vader so that they had a casting thickness so it would fit back on him afterwards. We knew it would go back in, but I had to create the look of Vader and know it would work as well, in the fact that it would go back onto Dave Prowse to wear on as Vader. So I did the mask and then the helmet, refixed the plaster Prowse back onto the shoulders, and did the armour, the shoulder, the chest armour, the shoulder bells, and the shins in the plaster shop. I went down because I'd been up in the art department for the whole period of the film, and they set up a small plaster shop there to do that side of it, but with the big figure of Dave Prowse, so I just did the armour down in the main plaster shop, which was a bit more lively because I'd been up in this little workshop up in the art department by myself for months, so going down there and a bit of banter with the plasterers.
Socialise.
Yeah, it was a bit of fun. But yeah, I mean, I loved working on Star Wars, and we had no idea I mean, we were all pessimistic as to what it was going to be as a film. We didn't think it was going to be too much. But then the following year in '77, we, as the crew, all went up to see the crew showing in London, and we were all amazed. I mean, you see that great big spaceship come over, and there was a round of applause. And at the end of the film, it had a standing ovation from the pessimistic crew, who loved the film, and it was obviously beyond its period, beyond its time. It was such a great film. I mean, even when Spielberg went to see some rushes that George Lucas, because they were friends, asked him to go and watch, and all he watched was these like Second World Spitfire and films that he overlaid the Star Wars stuff over. So even he didn't understand what it was about. But it all came to light when we went to see the film, and it was great.
And it made a few quid and became quite a popular movie.
Well, he just had a nice pension fund, didn't he, of £4 billion. So, yeah, he's done all right out of it. And what's great about that, in a way, is that Disney will carry on making Star Wars pictures, and they've more than had their money back already, and they'll carry on making them.
I remember somebody saying to me, $4 billion, that's a lot. And I'm like, it's really not. It's not a lot for Star Wars at all.
$4 billion. Well, I was signing out in Celebration out in California last year. And that evening they showed rushes, and they had a BB-8 there and that. And they showed it, and overnight the Disney shares went up £2 billion. So that was half of their money back just by showing those, that bit of film. And they've more than made their money back, and they will make a lot more sense, in the coming years. But Rogue One I did work on, and The Force Awakens I can't actually talk about, but I can say that, and you all probably know that Vader's back in Rogue One, and the Death Star droid and the Stormtroopers, because it apparently finishes 15 minutes before the old A New Hope started. But is there any more questions?
Yeah, I heard somebody'd tipped me off before, said they'd heard you saying downstairs that Rogue One was your final film.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's not true, is it?
Yeah, it's true. Sometimes you have to call it a day, and 48 years in the film industry, working on lots and lots of films. For 10 years I had my own company and workshops at Elstree Film Studios, so I was doing work on film, price work, and for GoldenEye I did all the big Russian statues back at my workshop, 20-foot figure of Stalin, 17-foot figure of Lenin, another 13-foot figure plus 10-foot high head of Lenin. And
did you do the one that fell on the tank?
No, that was done by the sculptors at the studio. We did all the big, there were two of us did them, all the big statues for the statue park, where they'd ripped them all down in Russia and put them all in this one area. And Bond was standing there, and he had 4 red dots on his chest where the guns were pointed at him, and he realised. But it was for that set, and that was a night set, so we did it all fairly quickly. We did, because it was on a price, we were doing the hours and working hard, and we did all that lot in 10 weeks, the two of us. So it was all large scale stuff. But that was at Leavesden. That was most of the Bonds were made at Pinewood Studios, but that one was at Leavesden. It was the first film that were made there. Then they had made films like Sleepy Hollow, which I did work on. Mortal Kombat was on that. And then they went on to have the Harry Potter franchise at Leavesden, which I worked on 4 of them. Then Warner's actually bought Leavesden Studios and they've expanded it. They've built lots of more, and they're so busy there. And you've got the Harry Potter theme park there, which I went round I got dragged over there a few weeks ago. A friend come over from Iceland, because I always thought, why do I want to go to a Harry Potter theme? Yeah, I've seen it all, but it is excellent. It's really good. Yeah, I was pleased I went.
A friend of mine, we're looking at your filmography, and I have to bring up The Eagle Has Landed, which I believe you did work on.
Yeah, I did. I wasn't on it for long. I was only on it for about 4 weeks, and I went up to Maple, Durham, and they'd put some tents up, and they were shooting in the church there. They built a pub and various other things, and the water wheel, they remade that. But I sculpted the 2 figures that were on the tomb because they were going to be blowing apart and shooting and everything. They couldn't do that in the actual church. So we reproduced the interior of the church in a field nearby. So yeah, I was in a big marquee sculpting the figures to represent the figures inside. But I was only there for about 3 or 4 weeks. Then went off on another picture, as you
Something
do.
else, but that is, I mean, that's just the bullet points of the filmography, and it's seriously impressive. Rogue One, Guardians of the Galaxy, Snow White and the Huntsman, Dark Shadows, Harry Potter, Die Another Day, Planet of the Apes, Tomb Raider, Gangster Number 1, love that film. What was it you did on Gangster Number 1?
I was at the studio at the time, and in all the years I was there, because they had knocked the main part of the studio down to build a Tesco's, and I won't go into the politics of all that, but anyway, there was only the television stages left until they built the Lucas stage. And Gangsters 1 was just a small film, really, and I did some for the nightclub.
Right, yeah.
There's some big horse panels that I did. So that was about it for that one.
Okay. There's also Willow, Princess Bride, View to a Kiss, there's a lot of Bond films. Dark Crystal, Clash of the Titans, the original one, which I love.
Yeah.
So that was shot in Malta. Raiders of the Lost Ark, Alien.
No, that was actually shot at Pinewood, but we went out to Malta on it for 6 weeks. I was on the film for 6 months, most of it at Pinewood, and then went out to Malta for 6 weeks. And I thought I was going out there for an easy time, actually.
Well, I'm guessing you weren't.
Well, I wasn't. The way it turned out. Another guy was going to go out, and there was a 25-foot figure, a 10-foot high Assyrian bull with wings that was for the main square, and the 25-foot figure was there. And then there was 2 Assyrian bulls at the archway where all my panels that I'd done back at Pinewood went right the way, and you had a view out to sea with it. And then the guy that was going to go out there broke his leg. And I went out there and busted a gut for 6 weeks. So, yeah, I mean, a guy that came out with me had never done any carving before, so it was down to me to do most of it. We did the 25-foot figure in 11 days and the Assyrian bulls and that. And my wife was pregnant with our first baby. And Ray Harryhausen, who did all the stop frame animation for it, he came out. And he wanted, it was early Assyrian, the style, and he wanted it slightly later period, and he had drapery. I said, sorry, I'm going home. So the other guy got stuck with going up on cherry pickers and draping the big figure. But yeah, I mean, it was good fun. We were outside, so the first thing you do is, like, you were in your shorts and sunglasses, otherwise you'd be snowblind by the end of the day. Because that sunshine out there on the polystyrene, it's so bright. So you're working in sunglasses, pasting loads of stuff on, drinking water all day because you're in the open. We didn't have any workshops there. But yeah, I've done 3 films out there now. The first film I did was straight after Alien. And I never actually saw the space jockey in place on the stage, because I went straight out to work on a film called Martian Chronicles.
Yeah.
It was a film with Rock Hudson, and it was a pretty obscure film, really. It wasn't that great, but I enjoyed being out in Malta for 5 weeks on it. We were just doing, I don't know, it's hard to explain the work actually, it's just strange alien pieces. But funny enough, Rock Hudson, he used to come past each day and he'd say good morning and that, but he used to sit up there doing crochet with his boyfriend at the time, but it was always kept very quiet that he was gay. It was always put forward that he was macho and sort of had lady friends and that, but it wasn't the case. But is there anything else?
There is ton. I mean, have you seen the Martian Chronicles, Bob? I would have thought. There you go. That's one from my friend.
I mean, things like Indiana Jones, they were quite interesting. I worked on all three of them. Not so much Raiders of the Lost Ark. I did. There were two of us that did the Lost Ark, Ark of the Covenant. I also did on that. You know the scene where he's down in the snake pit with the big Anubis figures there? Mm-hmm. Well, I did the Cobra from when they shoot towards Harrison Ford. So you get the shot from where they shoot behind his head, and there's a live Cobra. You see it moving around, and it's behind the glass, sheet of glass. And they got away with that because they were shooting towards light. But when they shot back the other way, they couldn't have the glass sheet there, and they wasn't going to chance Harrison Ford with a Cobra in front, so I sculpted a Cobra for the shot going back the other way. But I found that The Temple of Doom was a nicer film to work on from the work we did. I did things like the heart that they pluck out for the sacrifice, and it's pumping. I think they cut that out initially.
Yeah, it was trimmed in the
film
UK,
here, and then I think it was brought back in later. But they asked me to go to Harefield Heart Hospital to see a surgeon there. So I went in, and we were discussing what was the best heart that I could get, and he said, "Well, the primates are the best heart you can get." Which I said, I can't do that. I can't. So we settled in the end for a sheep's heart. Right. So they bought me in a sheep's heart on the film. I also had a plastic model that they used in the hospitals that I could use for getting the veins coming off in the right sections. And then I used the sheep's heart to get all the detailing to make it look really realistic. And as I was leaving the room, he said, "Oh, by the way," he said, "I'm doing open heart surgery tomorrow. Would you like to come and have a look?"
And what I'd be like,
I said no, thanks. It wouldn't be any good to me because I could hardly ask you to hold his heart on his chest while I take a few pictures, do a few sketches.
I'm a sculptor. I don't want to see that.
So no, I didn't do that. But I mean, some of the other work I did on that, there was when he was in the temple where the heart was taken out, he goes along a balcony and then it's all broken away, and he's got his whip and he puts it around an elephant trunk, and then he swings down to the ground. Well, I carved that. That was about a 10-foot high elephant's head. There was a 14-foot python I did where the scene where they're around the fire and there's little baby elephants there, and the snake comes down out the tree and it comes down onto her shoulder, and she was actually terrified by snakes. That's why she wouldn't have a snake near her, and I had to sculpt that one. And then she grabs it when it's on the shoulder and chucks it, and we stopped it on the actual film on the computer, and as it lands, then you can tell it's not a live snake because it's just lifeless.
I mean, how long would it take on average to sculpt a python like that?
I had 2 days. Wow. Well, I mean, I am fairly quick at what I do anyway, because the original Darth Vader, I was about a month on it just by myself. And then when it was resculpted for the Sith, there were 6 of them on it for 2 months. So I'm quick, and really by that time they had so much money in the franchise that they probably played about a bit as well. So I wouldn't put it down to the fact that I'm faster than 6 people. It's just that they had more money and could play about, but they probably, I'd say I am quick anyway.
I mean, looking at your filmography, what was it like working on the Jim Henson project, Dark Crystal?
It was enjoyable. It was very, very different. we were doing mainly the stuff in the background. There was a creature shop set up. And in fact, it was the first time that they ever had an animatronic department as such, where they had it all under the same roof. They'd had sculptors, people doing the moulds, the painting, everything was under one roof. Whereas in the past, you'd have the sculpting department, you'd have the plastering department, you'd have special effects, and it would go around the departments, and it would all be done as a finish. So that was the first film, Dark Crystal, that was all done. But a lot of the set work and the thrones and all sorts, it was very interesting work to actually do. Actually, funny enough, I got to work a lot closer with Frank Oz on Little Shop of Horrors that I worked on later with Audrey, the plant, and I did different things like in the dentist scene, there was a dog with rotten teeth. So I had to sculpt the whole, like the dog's head, they put hair on it, and I sculpted it in all rotten teeth. And they used that just for a picture. Was it scene other than the picture? I'm not sure, I can't remember now. And there was all sorts of the set, I do architectural heads and all sorts for that. And they did have a scene at the end that was cut out where Audrey was going huge, and it was like trains pulling them off the rails and all sorts. But when they showed it out in America, the public didn't like it, so they cut it out the film.
I think it is a deleted scene on one of the, be it a Blu-ray or a DVD.
But they spent a lot of money doing that, and it was just all deleted.
Probably it's like,
yeah. Well, I suppose it's more important that people like it and word of mouth, and it makes a lot more money. That's what we're interested in.
Definitely. But if anybody's any questions for this, Annette has one.
What's the sculpture that you're most proud of?
I get that asked all the time, and I find it also difficult to answer because there's so much work. I mean, Vader's become iconic. It's known the world over. Even China, we were there a couple of months ago, and they're mad for it there. I suppose in a way Vader was probably proud of, but I don't necessarily think it's the best work I've done.
What's the best work?
Now that's hard. There's so much nice work that I've had to do over the years. I mean, even one that was cut out, I don't know if you remember the opening sequence in Temple of Doom where they're in the Obi-Wan club.
Mm-hmm.
And the very opening sequence is on the Paramount Mountains, and they come out from that, and there's a dragon on the gong, and then the gong rolls off, and there's firing and everything. Yeah. Well, I had 2 weeks, and I sculpted a dragon that went right around the whole gong, and the Paramount Mountains were in the middle. And I was really pleased with that job, and then the art department come down and said, we've got the scale of the mountains wrong to pan out from. So having spent 2 weeks doing that, a job that I was really happy with, the dragon looked lovely, I had 2 days to do what you see on screen. And that's the way it goes in the film industry sometimes.
Is that a hard thing to get used to, when you go, ta-da, it's brilliant, and they go, no. Oh.
You accept it.
Do you take it personally, or is it just like, that's the nature of the business?
No, it is what it is. And you go with, films like Harry Potter, I did these in the atrium. I did the really ornate fireplaces that they walk into the Ministry of Magic, and there's 17 of them. So that was really seen. It's there also in the museum now. There was the goblin on the big plinth where you've got the centaur, and there's a big female figure that worked on a bit as well. But I did these really ornate gates, gold gates, and they weren't seen. They weren't on film. So you just accept that's what happens. You go in, you're professional about the work you do, you work the best of your ability in the time you have, and you accept what happens. If your work is seen right in front of the camera, then great. And if it isn't, sometimes it's a little bit out of focus because they're focusing it on the actors. Again, that you accept it. In fact, a lot of the time I will go and watch a film I've worked on. I get so carried away with the film itself that I forget to look for my work. I might see it later if I look again, see it again.
Okay. I think we have an audience question now.
Got a question from the audience?
What's your preferred thing to sculpt out of?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
What's your preferred thing to sculpt out of? Preferable medium.
Did you get
which is your preferred way to sculpt? Was it?
No.
Oh, material. Yeah, what is your preferred material to sculpt out of? Thank you.
I'd rather work in clay. You work in clay for the finer details, or if they're going to mould something and cast a lot out. But often, films like GoldenEye, all the big statues, we carve them in polystyrene, because then you don't have to mould and cast them. The polystyrene is a finished job as such. They might put something on to texture it, and you can paint polystyrene to look like bronze, stone, or anything you want it to be. So once it's painted, you would accept that it is stone. Like those statues. I mean, even the 25-foot figure in Clash of the Titans, again, they all look like stone. There was another thing, Willow, the Dogs of Death, and funny enough, they came up to Wales to shoot that in. I had to age them all down, so you sculpt them all to look perfect. And then there was a wind, it was in a valley on like a castle, big castle, and the winds were supposed to come down the alley from the valley from one way, so you aged one side more than the other. All of them were aged from that direction. They were all carved in polystyrene again because you haven't got mould and cast them. So I had 4 at 12 foot and then 2 at 8 foot high. And I was carving them in about 2.5 days.
Wow. You've written a book as well.
2 books.
Have you got these books downstairs?
Yeah, they're downstairs. There's the original one that takes you up to 88, which says how I got into the film, a little bit about childhood, and then how I got into the film industry, Star Wars and some other pictures, a court case that I got involved with for Lucas. So that takes you up to 88, and then the other book brings you up to date. So, but I don't think there'll be another one. Yeah, it doesn't come easy. I mean, a lot of people have said how good the books are. They've really enjoyed, and some people have said they've read them 3 or 4 times. I actually quite enjoyed reading it myself, but long time after, when you've got over writing them.
Yeah. I mean, what was it like writing them? Because you've got a wealth of information to choose from.
Well, my wife wrote them with me, so we sat down at the computer, and some days would go well and you'd get stuff down and you'd be pleased with the day. Other days you'd get half a page and
come back
and
tomorrow.
You've been arguing about it all day, what sounds best or whatever, and I forgot the question. What was the question?
Yeah, just basically what it was like writing the book.
Yeah. So it was something that I wanted to do and that I talked about, and funny enough, we have a house out in Florida, and we were out there in the winter, and I said, that I'd like to get down to writing that book sometime, and my wife Lindsay said, well, we'll start now. We just started writing the first chapter out there, and that got once you've actually started on it, you've set yourself the goal to do it.
Yeah.
Then we carried on and finished it, and then taking it up to 1988, where we thought, now we've done that, we might as well go to the end.
What was the reason to break it off at 88?
Nothing more than that we felt that we had enough there for a book, and it would have been a huge book and cost a lot more money per book. And I don't know whether it had been sellable, I don't know, but that's what we decided, to go to 88, and then do the rest at another time. It took us 5 years to get round to doing that, mind you.
And what's the cost of the books now? I'm asking for me because I'm going to come down and get them after.
They're £20 and that's signed and personalised.
Nice.
Which is a good deal really because it's
interesting
£15 for a photograph.
Definitely.
So you get to read a book that is quite enjoyable and you've got lots of
signed as
photographs
well?
and you get it signed and personalised.
Exactly. I will be down after the next panel to get them. So, any questions? There we go. Yep.
Can you speak up, please?
He'll get a mic. It's coming.
The new Star Wars films, Disney, are they continuing to the books, or are they going off books? Because I've read some of the older books which they want to do the films of, and I've heard that they aren't continuing with the books.
No, apparently Disney they can go back to the books and use bits of information if they wish, and then it becomes canon.
Yeah,
but at the minute they're not basing any of the new films off stuff.
Thank you
all
for
new.
answering that
No,
question.
No problem. So, any other questions for Brian? Gentleman here.
Hi. I was going to ask, like you said before, which you're the most proud of, but instead, is there any film that you didn't get asked to do where you wished you had done, or saw something and thought, I could have done that better?
I've always accepted it as it comes. There's no point in wishing that you'd done a film. You haven't done it, and that's it. And I've been lucky enough to work on so many good films. I can't feel bad about not working on something. I did get asked what was my favourite film, what's the best work, and all that. And I can definitely, and it's hard to say which is the best, but I can definitely tell you which was the worst. And I'll tell you, Superman. I hated it. And I'll tell you why. It changed studios 4 times. It started off at Bray, it went to Italy, it moved from Italy to Shepperton, and then it folded for 2 months and moved to Pinewood Studios. They changed director, designer 3 times, and they changed the script many times. And I worked there for 6 months at Shepperton, and every single bit of work I did was scrapped. Each designer would scrap the previous designer's work. And it wasn't until I went back on it at Pinewood that I actually did work for the film. But the work that I was doing was for the Fortress of Solitude, all the great big ice shards. And I was in the Bond stage at the bottom of the tank, and it was winter, and there's an underground stream there. So we had 2 inches of water I was working, and I've got variacs, so I was getting shocks all the time, and it was just awful.
Not pleasant. Can you go back and watch Superman and go, it's a good film, or does it just bring back the painful memories?
To be honest with you, I've not watched it.
No,
I don't want to watch it.
Not interested.
No. But anyway, I thought I'd let you know that.
That's a very interesting story, yeah. Any questions? That's supposed to be a fascinating person to chat to. Forget the audience today, I'll just talk to you all the time. But no, I think it is sort of sad that you say Rogue One's going to be a final one, but,
I don't feel sad about it.
Oh, no, I feel happy that you got filmography.
I mean, at the moment, we are travelling all over the world, meeting great fans that appreciate the work I've done, and I've got nothing to prove. And we're having a great time, enjoying it, travelling. So no, I don't feel bad about it.
No. Okay.
But feel quite fulfilled in all the work. I've done so much work that I'm happy not to sculpt now.
I think you're next, but you should write another book called From Digby to Rogue One.
Yeah.
About as far apart. I mean, what did
Yeah.
you do on Digby? Just I
things
love
like
that
the dog when he was huge. They had a shot from inside the mouth out, so we did the teeth, the tongue, and so it was like the whole inside of the mouth and various other things on it.
Nice.
It's a long time ago, actually. Nearly 47 or 8 years.
It's one of my childhood films, that one. I remember
Yeah.
watching it years and years ago. So it was good. But no, thank you very, very much for everything you've done. Half of your filmography is my childhood.
Yeah.
So
Thank you. It was a pleasure doing it.
And I'll be down to check your books out and
thank you
and read them. But no, thank you very much.
Cheers.
Round of applause.
Thank you.
Absolutely fascinating.
Cheers.
So it's good. You know, should we get you back downstairs?
Right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, no, you're right.
You can follow. Is Vader going to be alright standing there for a while?
Oh, I think so.
I did a talk at Pinewood. Vader and stormtroopers from the UK were behind us, and all of a sudden Vader started going and a hand came out and propped him up.
It must get pretty warm in that suit or what?
Yeah.
We're just going downstairs to do a quick announcement and then we'll get started.
Are these on?
They are indeed, yeah.
Well, then you can put it out to Q&A. Yes, we did actually. Nice and steady sort of. It's not quite like the American ones, obviously. China was crazy. We went to Beijing a couple of months ago. It's just cute.
That's quite unnerving, isn't it?
It is quite unnerving.
I think we'll have to ask Vader to stop breathing. I didn't mean it.
So they've been in the suit all day? Or they've been in the all day? Or they've been
I know Dave Prowse, when they were filming, he would always take the helmet off and he wouldn't put it back on until they were ready to film again. He was really found it quite claustrophobic, he did.
They are very warm. Very warm.
Have you worn one of those?
No, just because we're in the club.
Right.
We've got a lot of members and we've got another guy. They'll wear them for about an hour to an hour and a half on tops, and then they have to take it and cool down.
And there's no place to really put like a hairdryer or
There's no room in the mask at all.
That's partly why the chin then was made bigger from A&H, to Empire, Return of the Jedi, was made bigger. So just let it a little bit more area.
Right, let's crack on. And doors are open, so more people can come in. You've got one of the most seriously impressive filmographies. What I've done for each of these files is I was printing out, this person's done this person. And up to yours,
Yeah, 48-year career in the film industry and 70 movies. I started way back in 1968 as an apprentice at Elstree Film Studios. And I was extremely lucky. I was the only apprentice sculptor ever in the film industry in this country. And I was lucky from the point they turned down 12 before me. And for me it was lucky 13. And I was told before I ever went for the interview, don't expect too much because they've turned 12 down. But yeah, I waited for a week to get that letter. And it flopped onto the mat and I picked it up and yeah, I had the apprenticeship.
So what was the apprenticeship like, for you?
Well, mainly there was just me and the old guy I trained under in the sculpture workshop. Most of our work was on small British-made films, low-budget films like Digby the Biggest Dog or Boyfriend, and they were making the Avengers and the same television stuff there as well. So that was it. The day I came out of my apprenticeship, I was made redundant. Because I think the way the industry, there wasn't a lot of film work being made. And the old guy I trained under was making sure that he wasn't the one to go. So I went the day I come out of my apprenticeship. But it did me a lot of good actually, because I went to a company up in London and I spent 3 years doing prestigious work all over London. I worked on Velvet the Queen and Queen Mother. So yeah, I honed my skills up in that 3 years, and it was after 3 years that I got a call. Would I be interested to go back into the film industry to work on a sci-fi movie by the name of Star Wars? They needed some strange characters sculpted, so I said, yeah, I'd love to come back in. Initially they told me it was just 6 weeks because they didn't know what I could do, and I ended up staying the whole picture, so they were very happy with what I did.
And so what was the process of you going to the film for the Star Wars at the time? And was there like a formal interview sort of thing when you sat down, or was it show me what you can do?
No, it was come in, work on the film. I started off on the Stormtrooper armour. That was in January of 76. The film didn't come out until the following year. So yeah, I started on the Stormtrooper. George Lucas came up once or twice and liked what he was seeing. Then Liz Moore, who had sculpted C-3PO, left the picture at the end of January. She went out to a film, Bridge Too Far, to be with her boyfriend at the time. And so it was then down to me to do everything that was left on the film. So I worked 76 days without a day off. Following the Stormtrooper armour, I did the finishing work on C-3PO. Then John Barry said to me, will you go down to the wardrobe? There's a little drawing there. We want you to start on a new character. The name of the character is Darth Vader. So I went down to see John Mullow, costume designer, and he had a small line drawing from one angle. They'd moulded Dave Prowse and recreated him in plaster. So that's what I had to sculpt Vader on. So being that I knew I had the mask and the helmet to do first, I cut it off at the shoulders so I could put that onto a sculpting stand. Started with the mask on top, and I knew that I had to put at least 1/4 of an inch at the lowest point of Vader so that they had a casting thickness so it would fit back on him afterwards. We knew it would go back in, but I had to create the look of Vader and know it would work as well, in the fact that it would go back onto Dave Prowse to wear on as Vader. So I did the mask and then the helmet. refix the plaster Prowse back onto the shoulders and did the armour, the shoulder, the chest armour, the shoulder bells and the shins in the plaster shop. I went down because I'd been up in the art department for the whole period of the film, and they set up a small plaster shop there to do that side of it, but with the big figure of Dave Prowse, I just did the armour down in the main plaster shop, which was a bit more lively because I'd been up in this little workshop up in the art department by myself for months, so going down there and a bit of banter with the plasterers, it was a bit of fun. But yeah, I mean, I loved working on Star Wars, and we had no idea of, I mean, we were all pessimistic as to what it was going to be as a film. We didn't think it was going to be too much. But then the following year in '77, we, as the crew, all went up to see the crew showing in London, and we were all amazed. I mean, you see that great big spaceship come over, and there was a round of applause. And at the end of the film, it had a standing ovation from the pessimistic crew, who loved the film, and it was obviously beyond its period, beyond its time. It was such a great film. I mean, even when Spielberg went to see some rushes that George Lucas, because they were friends, asked him to go and watch, and all he watched was these like Second World Spitfire and films that he overlaid the Star Wars stuff over. So even he didn't understand what it was about, but it all came to light when we went to see the film, and it was great.
Made a few quid and became quite popular.
Well, he just had a nice pension fund of £4 billion. So, yeah, he's done all right out of it. And what's great about that, in a way, is that Disney will carry on making Star Wars pictures. And they've more than had their money back already, and they'll carry on making them.
I remember somebody saying to me, £4 billion, that's a lot, and I'm like, it's really not. It's not a lot for Star Wars at all.
$4 billion. Well, I was signing out in Celebration out in California last year, and that evening they showed rushes, and they had a BB-8 there and that, and they showed it, and overnight the Disney shares went up £2 billion. So that was half of their money back just by showing those, that bit of film. And yeah, they've more than made their money back, and they will make a lot more sense, in the coming years. But Rogue One I did work on, and The Force Awakens I can't actually talk about, but I can say that, and you all probably know that Vader's back in Rogue One, and the Death Star droid and the Stormtroopers, because it apparently finishes 15 minutes before the old A New Hope started. Is there any more questions?
Yeah, I heard somebody tipped me off before saying they heard you saying downstairs that Rogue One was your final film.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's true.
Yeah, it's true. Sometimes you have to call it a day, and 48 years in the film industry, working on lots and lots of films. For 10 years I had my own company and workshops at film studios, so I was doing work on film, price work, and for GoldenEye I did all the big Russian statues back at my workshop, 20-foot figure of Stalin, 17-foot figure of Lenin, another 13-foot figure plus 10-foot high head of Lenin. And
you did the one that fell over time?
No, that was done by the sculptors at the studio. We did all the big, there were two of us did them, all the big statues for the statue park, where they'd ripped them all down in Russia and put them all in this one area. And Bond was standing there, and he had 4 red dots on his chest where the guns were pointed at him, and he realised. But yeah, for that set, and that was a night set, so we did it all fairly quickly. We did, because it was on a price, we were doing the hours and working hard, and we did all that in 10 weeks, the two of us. So it was all large scale stuff. But that was at Leavesden, That was, most of the Bonds were made at Pinewood Studios, but that one was at Leavesden. It was the first film that were made there. Then they had made films like Sleepy Hollow, which I did work on. Mortal Kombat was on that. And then they went on to have the Harry Potter franchise at Leavesden, which I worked on 4 of them. Then Warner's actually bought Leavesden Studios and they've expanded it. They've built lots of more, and they're so busy there. And you've got the Harry Potter theme park there, which I went round. I got dragged over there a few weeks ago. A friend come over from Iceland, because I always thought, why do I want to go to a Harry Potter theme? Yeah, I've seen it all, but it is excellent. It's really good. Yeah, I was pleased I went.
A friend of mine was looking at your filmography, and I have to bring up the Eagles one.
Yeah, I did. I wasn't on it for long. I was only on it for about 4 weeks, and I went up to Maple Durham and they put some tents up and they were shooting in the church there. They built a pub and various other things, and the water wheel, they remade that. But I sculpted the 2 figures that were on the tomb because they were going to be blowing apart and shooting and everything. They couldn't do that in the actual church. So we reproduced the interior of the church in a field nearby. So yeah, I was in a big marquee sculpting the figures to represent the figures inside. But I was only there for about 3 or 4 weeks, then went off on another picture, as you do.
But that is, I mean, that's just the bullet points of the filmography. And it's seriously impressive. Rogue One, Guardians of the Galaxy, Snow White and the Huntsman, Dark Shadows, Harry Potter, Dial of the Day, Part of the Apes, Tomb Raider, Gangster #1, love that film. What was it you did on Gangster #1?
I was at the studio at the time, and in all the years I was there, because they knocked the main part of the studio down to build a Tesco's, well, I won't go into the politics of all that, but anyway, there was only the television stages left until they built the Lucas stage. And Gangsters 1 was just a small film really, and I did some for the nightclub. There's some big horse panels that I did, so that's about it for that one.
There's also Willow, Princess Bride, View to a Kiss, a lot of Bond films, Dark Crystal, Clash of the Titans, the original one, which it's about shot in Malta. Raiders of the Lost Ark, Alien.
No, that was actually shot at Pinewood, but we went out to Malta on it for 6 weeks. I was on the film for 6 months, most of it at Pinewood, and then went out to Malta for 6 weeks. And I thought I was going out there for an easy time, actually. Well, I wasn't. Another guy was going to go out, and there was a 25-foot figure, a 10-foot high Assyrian bull with the wings that was for the main square, and the 25-foot figure was there. And then there was 2 Assyrian bulls at the archway where all my panels that I'd done back at Pinewood went right the way, and you had a view out to sea with it. And then the guy that was going to go out there broke his leg. And I went out there and busted it up for 6 weeks. So yeah, I mean, the guy that came out with me had never done any carving before, so it was down to me to do most of it. We did the 25-foot figure in 11 days, and the Assyrian bulls and that. And my wife was pregnant with our first baby, and Ray Harryhausen, who did all the stop frame animation for it, he came out, and he wanted, it was early Assyrian, the style, and he wanted it slightly later period, and he had drapery. I said, sorry, I'm going home. And so the other guy got stuck with going up on cherry pickers and draping the big figure. But yeah, I mean, it was good fun. We were outside, so the first thing you do is, like, you were in your shorts and sunglasses, otherwise you'd be snowblind by the end of the day, because that sunshine out there on the polystyrene, it's so bright, so you're working in sunglasses, pasting loads of stuff on, drinking water all day, because you're in the open. We didn't have any workshops there. But yeah, I've done 3 films out there now. The first film I did was straight after Alien, and I never actually saw the space jockey in place on the stage, because I went straight out to work on a film called Martian Chronicles. It was a film with Rock Hudson, in. It was a pretty obscure film, really. It wasn't that great, but enjoyed being out in Malta for 5 weeks on it. We were just doing, I don't know, it's hard to explain the work actually. It's just strange alien pieces. But funny enough, Rock Hudson, he used to come past each day and he'd say good morning and that, but he used to sit up there doing crochet with his boyfriend at the time, but it was always kept very quiet that he was gay. It was always put forward that he was macho and sort of had lady friends and that, but it wasn't the case. But is there anything else?
There is a ton. Have you seen the Martian Chronicles, Bob?
Yeah, that's one from my childhood.
There you go, that's one from
I mean, things like Indiana Jones, they were quite interesting. I worked on all 3 of them. Not so much Raiders of the Lost Ark. I did. There were 2 of us that did the Lost Ark, Ark of the Covenant. I also did on that. You know the scene where he's down in the snake pit with the big Anubis figures there? Well, I did the Cobra from when they shoot towards Harrison Ford. So you get the shot from where they shoot behind his head, and there's a live Cobra. You see it moving around, and it's behind a glass, sheet of glass. And they got away with that because they were shooting towards light. But when they shot back the other way, they couldn't have the glass sheet there, and they wasn't going to chance Harrison Ford with a Cobra in front. So I sculpted a Cobra for the shot going back the other way. But I found that The Temple of Doom was a nicer film to work on from the work we did. I did things like the heart that they pluck out for the sacrifice, and it's pumping. I think they cut that out initially in the film here, and then I think it was brought back in later. But they asked me to go to Hatfield, Harefield Heart Hospital to see a surgeon there. So I went in and we were discussing what was the best heart that I could get, and he said, well, the Primate's the best heart you can get, which I said, I can't do that, I can't. So settled in the end for a sheep's heart. So they bought me in a sheep's heart on the film. I also had a plastic model that they used in the hospitals that I could use for getting the veins coming off in the right sections. And then I used the sheep's heart to get all the detailing to make it look really realistic. And as I was leaving the room, he said, oh, by the way, he said, I'm doing open heart surgery tomorrow. Would you like to come and have a look? I said, no, thanks. It wouldn't be any good to me, because I could hardly ask you to hold his heart on his chest while I take a few pictures, do a few sketches like that. So, no, I didn't do that. But, I mean, some of the other work I did on that, there was when he was in the temple where the heart's taken out, he goes along a balcony and then it's all broken away, and he's got his whip and he puts it around an elephant trunk, and then he swings down to the ground. Well, I carved that. That was about a 10-foot high elephant's head. There was a 14-foot python I did where the scene where they're around the fire and there's little baby elephants there, and the snake comes down out the tree and it comes down onto her shoulder. She was actually terrified by snakes. That's why she wouldn't have a snake near her, and I had to sculpt that one. And then she grabs it when it's on the shoulder and chucks it. And we stopped it on the actual film on the computer. And as it lands, then you can tell it's not a live snake because it's just lifeless.
And how long would it take on to sculpt python like that?
I had 2 days. Well, I mean, I am fairly quick at what I do anyway, because the original Darth Vader, I was about a month on it just by myself. And then when it was resculpted for the Sith, there were 6 of them on it for 2 months. So I'm quick, and really by that time they had so much money in the franchise that they probably played about a bit as well. So I wouldn't put it down to the fact that I'm faster than 6 people. It's just that they had more money and could play about, but they could probably, so I am quick anyway.
I mean, looking at your filmography, what was it like working with Jim Henson? project Dark Crystal?
It was enjoyable. It was very, very different. We were doing mainly the stuff in the background. There was a creatures shop set up, and in fact it was the first time that they ever had an animatronic department as such, where they had it all under the same roof. They had sculptors, people doing the moulds, the painting, everything was under one roof. Whereas in the past, you'd have the sculpting department, you'd have the plastering department, you'd have special effects, and it would go around the departments, and it would all be done as a finish. So that was the first film, Dark Crystal, that was all done. But a lot of the set work and the thrones and all sorts, it was very interesting work to actually do. Actually funny enough, I got to work a lot closer with Frank Oz on Little Shop of Horrors that I worked on later with Audrey, the plant, and I did different things like in the dentist scene there was a dog with rotten teeth, so I had to sculpt the whole, like the dog's head, they put hair on it, and I sculpted it in all rotten teeth, and they used that just for a picture. I think, was it Scene Oven, the picture? I'm not sure, I can't remember now. And there was all sorts of the set, I do architectural heads for that. And they did have a scene at the end that was cut out where Audrey was going huge, and you know, it was like trains pulling them off the rails and all sorts, but when they showed it out in America, the public didn't like it, so they cut it out the film.
I think it is a deleted scene.
Yeah. But they spent a lot of money doing that, and it was just deleted. Yeah. Well, I suppose it's more important that people like it, and word of mouth, and it makes a lot more money. That's what
definitely. But if anybody's any questions, there's Nat as well.
What's the sculpture that you're most proud of?
I get that asked all the time, and I find it also difficult to answer because there's so much work. I mean, Vader has become iconic. It's known the world over. Even China, we were there the other a couple of months ago, and then Antwerp there. I suppose in a way Vader was probably proud of, but I don't necessarily think it's the best work I've done.
What's the best work you think you've done?
Yeah, that's hard. Oh, there's so much nice work I've had to do over the years. I mean, even one that was cut out, I don't know if you remember the opening sequence in Temple of Doom where they're in the Obi-Wan club. And the very opening sequence is on the Paramount Mountains, and they come out from that, and there's a dragon on the gong, and then the gong rolls off, and there's firing and everything. Well, I had 2 weeks, and I sculpted a dragon that went right around the whole gong, and the Paramount Mountains were in the middle. I was really pleased with that job, and then the art department come down and said, oh, we've got the scale of the mountains wrong to pan out from. So, having spent 2 weeks doing that, a job that I was really happy with, the dragon looked lovely, I had 2 days to do what you see on the screen. And that's the way it goes in the film industry sometimes.
Is that a hard thing to get used to, when you go, it's brilliant, no.
You accept it.
Do you take it personally, or is it
no,
just that?
No, it is what it is. And you go with, I mean, films like Harry Potter, I did these in the atrium. I did the really ornate fireplaces that they walk into the Ministry of Magic, and there's 17 of them. So that was really seen. It's there also in the museum now. There was the goblin on the big plinth where you've got the centaur, and there's a big female figure that I worked on a bit as well. But I did these really ornate gates, gold gates, and they weren't seen. They weren't on film. So you just accept that's what happens. You go in, you're professional about the work you do, you work the best of your ability and the time you have, and you accept what happens, happens. If your work is seen right in front of the camera, then great, and if it isn't, sometimes it's a little bit out of focus because they're focusing it on the actors. Again, you accept it. In fact, a lot of the time I will go and watch a film I've worked on, I get so carried away with the film itself that I forget to look for my work. I might see it later if I look again, see it again.
I think we have an audience question. Question from you.
What is the third thing to sculpt out of?
Sorry,
what's your preferred thing to sculpt out of? Preferable medium.
Did you get that?
Which is your preferred way to sculpt?
Material.
Oh, material. Yeah, what's your preferred material?
I'd rather work in clay. You work in clay for the finer details, or if they're going to mould something, you cast a lot out. But often, films like Goldeneye, all the big statues, we carve them in polystyrene, because then you don't have to mould and cast them. The polystyrene is a finished job as such. They might put something on to texture it, and you can paint polystyrene to look like bronze, stone, or anything you want it to be. So once it's painted, you would accept that it is stone. Like those statues. I mean, even the 25-foot figure in Clash of the Titans, again, they all look like stone. There was another thing, Willow, the Dogs of Death. And funny enough, they came up to Wales to shoot that in, and I had to age them all down, so you sculpt them all to look perfect. And then there was a wind, it was in a valley on like a castle, big castle, and the winds were supposed to come down the alley from the valley from one way, so you aged one side more than the other. All of them were aged from that direction. They were all carved in polystyrene again because you haven't got mould and casting. So I had 4 at 12 foot and then 2 at 8 foot high. And I was carving them in about 2.5 days.
You've written a book as well?
2 books.
Have you got these books downstairs?
Yeah, they're downstairs. There's the original one that takes you up to 88, which says how I got into the film, a little bit about childhood. And then how I got into the film industry, Star Wars and some other pictures. A court case that I got involved with for Lucas. So that takes you up to 88, and then the other book brings you up to date. So, but I don't think there'll be another one. Yeah, it doesn't come easy. I mean, a lot of people have said how good the books are, they've really enjoyed it, and some people have said they've read them 3 or 4 times. I actually quite enjoyed reading it myself, but long time after, when you've got over writing them.
I mean, what was it like writing them? Because you've got a wealth of information.
Well, my wife wrote them with me, so we sat down at the computer, and some days would go well and you'd get stuff down and you'd be pleased with the day. Other days you'd get half a page and you feel and you've been arguing about it all day, what sounds best or whatever, and forgot the question. What was the question?
Yeah, just best of what you like writing.
Yeah. So it was something that I wanted to do and that I talked about. And funny enough, we had a house out in Florida, and we were out there in the winter. And I said, you know, I'd like to get down to writing that book sometime. And my wife Lindsay said, well, we'll start now. We just started writing the first chapter out there, and that got, once you've actually started on it and you've set yourself the goal to do it, then you know we carried on and finished it, and then taking it up to 1988 where we